What is up, Wolverine Nation? It is your boy TJ Ronin with my good friend here, Darren Talks Ball. We're going to talk some ball because it's week one. Finally, it's here. Welcome to, well, there goes my phone. That's how excited we are. Welcome to Michigan at the Voice of College Football. This is the Thursday call-in show, and we are here to do the damn thing. As you guys know the format, we're going to go an hour. Every $100 from memberships, donations to super chats to super stickers. We're going to go an extra hour. If we got to go 3 hours, we will go 3 hours. We got to go 5 hours. I'll go 5 hours. Darren may not be able to.
I may not be able to. I'm not going to lie.
Right,
I don't know. Two hours is a big commitment for me these days.
Darren, if you showed up on time, we could have explained these rules.
I'm so sorry. I am. We had some technical difficulties backstage, so I apologize to anyone. I know what it's like to be waiting for your favorite live stream and be a couple minutes late. So
yeah,
apologies on that.
Or you can be honest with the people you're watching college football and forgot we were doing this show. So it's all good, man.
I'm watching college football. I don't know if I can really show this, but I'm watching college football right now. I don't know what you're talking about. I got the Hulu pulled up on the phone here. I'm watching North Dakota State and Colorado right now because my hot take
we also got the North Carolina Minnesota game, so we got some ball tonight.
That one, yeah, Minnesota's going to win that one. I'm pretty confident.
We're going to find out because it's going to be going on during the show. So
true.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody in the chat watching the show. Let's do the damn thing. Darren, it's been a month.
Yeah.
What's up? How are you, bro? You ready for some Michigan football or what, bro?
It's been a long month, not gonna lie. It feels like that last month was like a year. And honestly, the month of August is like the longest month out of the year for me. You know what it's like trying to create content on college football. It never really like slows down, but it feels like it gets stale after a while. And it's like, how many times can I go over these rosters and these schedules and this and that? And I'm just like ready to talk actual football. I'm excited. I'm a guy who likes to preview the games and get into all the details and the ins and outs of the schemes and how they match up against each other and the teams where they rank in different statistical categories. I'm sure we'll do a lot of that tonight. I got a lot on Fresno State. Anyone who knows that follows my channel will know I've already done a big preview video on them. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk actual football for a while and not some fucking documentaries out there on Netflix about guys who were low-level assistants. Let's just say that.
Absolutely, man. So I'm sure you're probably aware there's some quarterback. Well, so Sharon has not announced his quarterback yet. There was word he might announce it Wednesday. There was word he might announce it tomorrow. He might announce it before the game. So I told our audience on Tuesday's show that I've been told that Alex Orji is going to be QB1. There's some smoke out there that it might be Davis Warren. So we're going to find out. Is it Alex Orji? Is it Davis Warren? I'm still holding my position on it being Alex Orji to start the game. That's what I was told last, so I'm going to stick with that. And then, but Davis Warren, we'll find out. I mean, word is, and I don't know what you've seen or read or what, Darren, but word is Darren Warren has played really well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to get some action tomorrow or on Saturday's game. I keep thinking today's Friday, to be honest with you, but because we got football, blow my mind.
Right.
Yeah. So, what do you think, man? What do you think? Who do you think is going to start Saturday, and who do you want to start Saturday?
I'm still Team Orgy, though. The closer we get to the season, the more kind of confident I am in whoever starts for this offense. I think I've said it in one of my previous appearances on the show. I don't think Sharon Moore and especially Kirk Campbell get the credit for being kind of the offensive gurus that they really are, especially if you go back and watch that film against Alabama. The way they schemed up against that very particular, very unique defense that Nick Saban likes to run at Alabama was just chef's kiss. Sharon Moore's had Joe Moore award-winning offensive lines, consecutive seasons. He's the only offensive assistant to ever have that. So I'm really confident in their abilities to just put together a great offense. I'm more of an Orgy guy because I think his ceiling is much higher. And I do think, especially from what we saw in the spring game and the little like B-roll footage we get in all these little like, not necessarily like leaks, but little preview videos we get from Michigan's official like athletic channel and stuff, shows him throwing a good ball, throwing a nice spiral. I think he's better purely at throwing the football than a lot of people give him credit for. So I'm more of an Alex Orji guy, but that means if Davis Warren is the guy too that they're picking, then that just means that he's that much more capable and confident himself. And like I said, I'm confident in whoever they pick because it sounds like this competition has gotten pretty not heated. I don't think they're that competitive with each other. They're obviously supportive of each other too as teammates, but it's gotten really close and come down to the wire. So if Davis has pushed Alex that much to the point where he could be the starter himself, that could mean really good things for this offense, I think. So
yeah, no, the battle has been a battle. I mean, that's just what it is. So Davis Warren has played really well. And that's the great news. And the great news is, like, he's just really excelled throwing the ball, right? It's just Alex Orji offers so much. So I'm excited. I'll be honest, like, I do think Alex Orji is going to make it. I've been told, or not make it, start. And I've been told Alex Orji, I was told earlier in the week that Alex Orji was going to be starting, but I'm intrigued because we're going to find out. Because, I mean, like, sometimes I'm not right, and sometimes my guy's not right. So I'm interested to know if I'm gonna get this one or not. But anyways, but yeah, man. So we got Fresno State. What are your thoughts on the matchup? And give me a score prediction before we get to our next caller. Shout out to Juju for waiting on the line. Thank you, man.
Word. Yeah, I appreciate you, Juju, for calling in already. I did a preview and prediction video on that, like I mentioned a minute ago already. My prediction is that this game will end up about 31-10, 28-10 range, maybe 34-10, somewhere in there. I'm kind of calling it a classic Michigan blowout, though, even though the score won't show like a huge blowout, in the classic sense of like a 56-10 or something like that. I think this game will be relatively over by the first half or like midway through the third quarter. And then Michigan will probably take like a 14-3 lead or a 17-3 lead or something like that. And it'll feel like a much bigger lead than it is, because I'm really confident in Michigan's defense being able to shut down this Fresno State offense. Fresno State, by the way, was like 116th in the country at running the ball last season. They averaged just over 100 yards a game, which wasn't very good. Their offensive line doesn't really impress me too much. Their quarterback impresses me, and they were 20th in the country overall in just pure passing yards per game. But another little nugget about them too is they were 66th though in passing efficiency, which tells me that they don't have necessarily the efficient passing attack that I think is the one weakness that Michigan's defense has, is giving up a lot of kind of short and intermediate routes. And then defensively, Fresno State, I talked about it in a live stream I did or something like that. I can't remember. I've done so many videos this month, not going to lie.
Yeah.
They don't have a single D tackle or anyone on that D line over 300 pounds. And they were also 94th in the country last season as stopping the run. And they are the 88th preseason SP plus defense overall, according to Bill Connolly. That tells me that Michigan's going to be able to run the ball pretty easily. I think they'll run sort of a vanilla offense, not really wanting to show too much for Texas in the week after. And they'll be able to do that. They'll be able to stick to their regular like duo runs, their gap scheme plays, run over Fresno State, kind of ho-hum, run up the score a little bit. Maybe they'll cover that 21.5 point spread and coming away with a win and hopefully stay healthy. But I will say this, Fresno State is still like 63rd in preseason SP plus overall as a team. They're not a bad Mountain West team. In fact, I have them probably competing with Boise State for that conference. They went 9-4 last season. And again, they've got a good quarterback in Mikey Keene and some good wide receivers. So could be an interesting game. But again, I think Michigan just outmuscles them.
I mean, great analysis. Plus, I don't know if you know this, Darren, their left tackle's out.
So he is. I didn't catch that. Yeah.
Yep, their left tackle's out. We had Caleb, I forgot his last name. I think it's like Neob or something. He has a podcast that covers Fresno State. He broke it all down for us on Tuesday. But
nice.
Yeah, let's give a shout out here to Justin. No, he's going to be dipping out. So shout out Justin. He said, "Hey guys, wanted to say hey to everyone. I have my hockey team workout. We had to push it late at night because of the heat. Bro, drink some water. Come on, son." I'm just messing with you, Justin. All right, have fun, buddy. See you next Tuesday, actually, we'll probably see you Saturday night for the post game, Justin. So shout out to Justin. I wish I was playing. I miss playing hockey. All right, so let's get our first caller on the line, none other than Juju. And I'll say this too. He knows the game, right? Because we have had some people call in, and sometimes they wait a little bit, right? But Juju's like, F that, I'm just gonna be the first one, so he don't gotta wait.
Hell yeah.
What is up, Juju?
Appreciate it. What's up? Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir.
I want to start off with the quarterback. Yeah, a lot of smoke over this past week, or these last couple of days.
Yeah.
I know you're plugged in, TJ, and I have some people that are around the team too. And word on the block is that the defense was going about 70%, and then they really ramped it up. And what I'm hearing is Orgy struggled the same day that Warren took off.
Yeah.
And I personally don't have a problem with that. I know a lot of people are team Orgy. I do think Warren, like, he has the more proven arm and he can take the top off the defense with his arm. I personally don't have a problem with it. Now, it is one day. I just heard about that one day. I don't know about the other days, but I know that he did struggle from what everyone's saying. He did struggle, and a lot of people who were team Orgy inside the camp, message boards are kind of flipping. I do still think Orgy is going to start. I do, because I think over time he's won more of the reps than what Warren did. But I think Warren is going to have a lot to say about this, especially during Fresno. So I don't know what all you've heard, but that is the smoke coming into it.
So was that the day where he threw the 3 interceptions?
I do believe so. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, so he had a practice where he threw like 3 interceptions, but he came back the next day, had a strong showing. I'll be real though. I don't have any update on practice intel this week though. I haven't gotten anything, so I don't know how this week has gone. But as of our show Tuesday, the word that I received was that's why I told everybody, I was like, he's gonna be, even though the coach hasn't announced it, he's QB1. Like, that's just what it is right now. Now, I also mentioned, listen, Davis Warren, and as you know, and we all know, he's gonna get some snaps too. Like, now, do I think they're gonna rotate it? Like, one series is Orgy, one series is, I don't think so.
No, me neither.
But we'll see. I mean, I don't know, man. I'll be real with you. And I've also, like you, I've seen other people, or like there's other insiders who've been talking about Warren lately, making a run recently. So I haven't gotten that intel. But I mean, look, they know people, like they're tapped in. So and I'll be real, my sources are sometimes limited. So
same.
I'm just gonna, so I mean, like, we're gonna see, bro. I'm excited to find out. But if listen, this team Orgy Warren shit, hey, I'm team win. I don't care.
Right.
Whoever's the best, bro, you get the ball. I don't give a shit who it is.
Look, I mean, I went back and watched. Like, I always, over this past week, I went back and watched every game. All 22, and the thing that gives me pause about Orgy is when we don't know what he's gonna do, but if he's not, that accurate, it does give me pause, because our offense is a lot of times been 3 yards cloud of dust, that pro style run first. So them 3rd and longs, what are you gonna do with that? Because JJ was the best in the country last year and bailed us out. And no quarterback in that room is gonna be the best in the country. I'm not expecting that, but I'm expecting you to be able to make a damn throw on 3rd and 8. I'm expecting you to be able to do that and make plays when called upon. So we know Warren has a proven arm. We've seen it. And by practice, like I said, in practice, the defense has ramped it up, like, to try to prepare these quarterbacks. Like, we're done bullshitting around now. Like it's time. It's time for y'all to show out. So even if it was one practice, I don't know. I have to see them both play. Yeah. I do think it's gonna be half and half. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I think it's gonna be half and half.
It might be. But I think it also determined on the way the game's going. Like, I mean, if Orgy's balling, they're not gonna, if Orgy's balling, he's playing. But like, if he's struggling, Warren could come in early. Like, it's really just could be how the game flows, dude. Like, the good news is they're playing well though. Like,
both of them
had an off day, but like, he's played, like, I don't know if you know this either. He only threw 3 interceptions all camp up until that day.
Right. Well, and Warren has struggled in the early days, which I've heard the inconsistency as well. So
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I'm excited to find out, man. I think I don't know. I think the boys are going to come to play, bro. I really think Michigan's actually going to look pretty good. I mean, don't be wrong though. Do I think we're going to get like first game rust where like the O-line's got to get in sync? Yeah, I think you're going to see that. But I also think you're going to see maybe after the first series or two, they're going to find their groove and they're going to, because Fresno's got to go through that rust too, right? So,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's the first game for everybody. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they do have injuries at key spots: left tackle, wide receiver. So I mean, I'm just to see that. But the other topic was offensive line. Have you heard anything? I haven't heard anything. I don't know who's gonna start. It might be Dom. I know Evan Link might, but it's looking like Dom is pushing Crip.
I know.
Get your shit
Which
together.
is wild. He was a really, really lowly ranked recruit back when he came in. And Greg Crippen was like the former IMG Academy center back in the day. The dude was pretty highly
that's why
rated
it's
for a
giving me
center.
some concern.
Yeah.
Just some concern.
Yeah, like I said on my my episode of This Week in Michigan Football I put out last night, it's kind of glass half empty, glass half full, right? Like you can see it as a positive in some way that a younger guy, a more underrated guy has been developed and is pushing these guys now, and that's a good thing. But it is also like when you get highly rated, offensive linemen that have stuck it out for 3 years or 4 years or however long Greg Crippen has been there now, it feels like forever. You would think that those guys would be ready by now. So yeah, it's a little 6 in one, half dozen in the other for me. But yeah, it's tough to suss out. You don't really know. Are they pushing because the guys ahead of them are just not that great, or are they pushing because they've shown up on campus, spent their time for a year or two, and are just that good already? It's really hard to tell. And I heard I know Sam Webb kind of reported this morning that Evan Link is also pushing at tackle too, which was kind of a surprise. So
Evan Link's starting.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, that smoke is real.
Wow.
He started. I reported that Tuesday. He started. He took that. But so regarding Dominic Gudice, wait a minute.
That's how you say it, Gudice?
It's Judice. My bad. Listen, I'm gonna be real. All right, everyone needs to forgive me on these names because there's a lot of names.
I am the worst at pronouncing names.
I got people commenting on videos for these recruits, these 26s and stuff. Like, oh, you're pronouncing it. It's like, bro, there's 1,000 of these kids. It's not gonna happen, bro.
Try talking about SEC teams and having Southerners end up in your comments, judging you because you have a Midwestern accent. It's not Nussmeier to me. I'm sorry. I'm from Michigan. It's Nussmeier. I'm sorry. I'm from Michigan.
Yeah. Anyway. So, all right. Exactly. I hear you, man. So, yeah. So, Evan Link, he took it. See, the problem was, and we've been reporting this in spring ball, Andrew Gentry had good days and bad days, too inconsistent, right? And Evan Link has just been consistently good. So, he's taken it. So, we reported on Tuesday that he's going to be the starting right tackle. Then we discussed the center position and what's going on there. And the right tackle, Juju, if you want to be like, well, I don't know, that's not that good. Well, let's see. Evan Link might be that dude. So we're going to find out, right? Yeah, it's not good. Andrew Gentry couldn't do it. I agree with you there. But in terms of the center position, this isn't that. They're both playing well. Crippen's playing really well. Judice is playing really well. Judice is just I don't know, man. The way, and just so you know, this wasn't on my radar. I didn't cover this until Tuesday. This was not anything, Judice apparently is just looking special. You know what I mean?
He's a former defensive lineman, correct?
Yeah.
Came in as a D tackle.
Just like Khalil Mullins, he knows how to read the defense. So, I mean, I understand the hype. It's very shocking to me that, Crippen's been kind of banged up. But it's shocking to me that he comes over and has the transition just like Khalil Mullins. But it seems to be happening a lot sooner.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, too, is Raheem Anderson's playing good, too, though. They're all three are playing well. So, we have a legit-ass battle here. I'm curious. I don't know. I wonder if they might.
Do we rotate three centers the first week?
No, you ain't gonna rotate. You're not.
Don't rotate your center. If you're also rotating your quarterback, oh no! If you want to give me a heart attack,
that's what I'm saying.
34. That's what you do. That's what you do. Please, God, Sherwin Moore, do not do that. I can't go into cardiac arrest at this age. I know I'm getting older, but damn, I'm not that old yet.
Yeah, so you can't do that. You need that continuity on the offensive line. But I was just thinking, but I'm wrong when I thought about it out loud. I was like, well, what if you put one of these dudes at guard? But you're not, because Preby and Giovanni Ohadi, they think are all Big Ten quality guards. So that's not happening.
Well, the thing is who is going to be like the Trente Jones on this team? I think is the question, because at some points in the season they might go to those mammoth packages with a 6 lineman.
It'll be Gentry. It'll be Gentry. Yeah. Because Link's going to start, so it'll probably be Gentry as that 6th.
Jeff Percy is left off of the list. He didn't even name him.
Yeah,
which is wild.
What interview was it? I can't remember. I don't know if it was Khalil Mullins, but someone said the communication when Dom was at center was just unreal. I don't remember what interview it was. One of our players who said the communication, he was talking on Dom, rotating in. He said the communication that is what is special about him. And I got to go back and watch. I'll get on that, but it's It's mind-boggling to me. It seems every position is locked up. Quarterback, center.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems right tackle's done, but we'll see.
Right tackle does seem, but here's the thing: it's gonna be one of those things, Juju. We talked about this Tuesday. It's gonna go into the season, and that's kind of what seems to be happening with this quarterback position too. Like, it's interesting that Sharon's gonna. I don't, just so you know, and I don't have intel here. This is just like what I'm thinking. I don't think he's gonna announce it until the day of the game.
Till game day, you said?
Yeah, who's gonna
It
start?
feels like it. I think if they were gonna announce it, they would have already.
Yeah, it's gonna be game day. It's gonna be.
You talking about right tackle or quarterback? Which position?
Quarterback.
I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, you got to prepare for both. So it's just smart to me. I'm very excited to see. I'm very excited to see the depth of the D line. I want Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, get their runs in, but I want to see that depth because it's going to be very important. You already know my boy Trey Pierce. I want to see him. I want to see him in there because I think he's very, very important to be able.
Wink
to go
had some nice things to say about him the other day too, which was nice.
Who did?
Wink Martindale did on his he had an appearance on the John Jansen show. I forget what it's called.
I didn't see that. What did he say?
Yeah, he said some really nice things about Trey. He said he's a guy that he thinks will surprise some people, which is cool. I think he's still a true sophomore at this point, right? Or a redshirt freshman. So
is Etta, right? Etta and him are both.
Etta's around there. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, look, when we had it all fall camp, we said the depth is. We have depth. We thought it would be a weakness, but it's not. Look, Jake McBurrows is backing up Zeke Berry. You got Amir Hall backing up, and that's another one too. Look at Jair Hill. He took that at the CB2. He took that. That was never.
Yeah, he won that.
Won
that
in like week 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like we're in a great spot. I'm excited to see this team just ball out, man, because I think they're gonna. It's just now and I'm sure we all feel similar. Like, what's going on with this quarterback position? Like, all right, so let's say it's Orji. All right, well, let's see it though. Let's see him become that dude. And if it's not Orji, let's see Davis Warren and let's see what this offense is like. Because I'll be real with you, there's a part of me that's like, all right, Warren's interesting because how aggressive are we going to be? Because he's got that arm, So I actually feel like we would be a more aggressive offense through the air, obviously. But I think we'd be like maybe more high. I'll be real, man. There's a part of me that thinks with Davis Warren we'd be more high scoring. I think with Orji, it'd be more control the clock type stuff,
I mean, I don't disagree with you. That's why it's so hard to debate between the two different quarterbacks. I mean, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Do you want to control more? Is your defense going to be on the field more? Is your depth like a concern? Because if it is, then you keep Orji on the field, eat the clock, keep your defense safe. If you found that depth, Warren would be a great. It's just so many different factors, and I really have no idea. Like I'm just hearing so many different things and. Warren here, Orji here, Dom here, Evan Link here, Cameron Brandt coming along, Dominic Nichols coming along, which that leads me to the next question. Who do you think wins that 4 deep spot? Is it Cameron Brandt or is it Dom Nichols?
Nichols, the name I've heard the most.
Nichols is really impressed from what I've heard. Really impressed.
Nobody has said down all right. So like we talked on Tuesday, I said we have 7 defensive lineman rotation, and I didn't mention Dominic Nichols. I only mentioned three ends. But outside of that, no other end has been talked about more than Dominic Nichols. And Sharon Moore even said when he mentioned what freshman could you see this year, he mentioned Dominic Nichols. So I'm thinking Dominic Nichols might get that 4th spot, man, which would be pretty wild. In a good way.
Man, that would kind of hurt my heart, man. I'm a huge Cameron Brandt fan.
Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe he does, though. Maybe.
But hey, let the best man win. He certainly built to par. What, he's 6'5", 260. So, as a freshman,
yeah, I'm actually looking that up right now. I want to see what he weighed in at.
I keep forgetting he's a freshman. I keep thinking he's a redshirt freshman.
He looks like Taco Charlton.
He's a 6'5", 261, true freshman.
This length, all the length. Yeah. Yeah.
Do we have any more updates on the linebacker group at all? It's went complete 0 for me.
Well, I mean, you got. Listen, Barham and Ernest Hausman are going to run it, and then Reuter is Reuter's rolled my bad. Rolder's going to I win names, bro. Rolder's going to he's 3rd linebacker. He's going to be the 3rd linebacker, and then what I had on Tuesday was Jaden Hood and Cole Sullivan are going to be in the rotation.
And
So
they
it's
really
gonna be
like Cole Sullivan too, from what I've heard, everything I've seen.
Cool.
They really like him a lot as a young guy coming in. So I think maybe we haven't heard too much on the linebackers just because they're so solid at that position. Like, I mean, I mentioned it the other day in a video I did. Jayshon Barham might be one of the more underrated portal pickups in the entire country this season.
Well, did you see the
beast?
Oh, you're not even on Twitter. Did you see what Pro Football Focus put out about him today?
Oh, did they put something up? No.
Yeah, I'll put it up right now. I'll put it on. Yeah, I got it right.
I saw NDSU is taking the lead over Colorado here so far too. I don't know how many updates on that we want to give tonight.
Yeah, Colorado's defense is Swiss Army. Like,
yeah, it's a wet paper bag over there.
Pretty bad.
It is. Too bad you can't get more portal players for that defense during halftime, or maybe you can now. I don't know what the rules are anymore.
Why he looks at? Oh, he just got it up.
There we go.
Yes. So what he said is his draft stock's going to take off like a rocket.
So first round draft pick right there.
Dude, I'm telling you, like everything out of camp has it's just been like. Did anyone watch the roundup today with Sam Webb? Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
I missed it. I'm gonna go back.
Best linebacker since in their best linebacker. We just so you know, so pat ourselves on the back. We had this like a week or two ago. Like we were saying this is. So we told everybody that this was being discussed behind the scenes through the coaches. Well, Sam said it publicly today. Best linebacker since Devin Bush. That's what's being talked about at Michigan. And we had that 2 weeks ago. Like, it's just nuts.
Well, if you know this guy's recruiting history and everything, just because he went to Maryland doesn't mean he wasn't highly touted. He was something like a 96 or 97 24/7 composite. He was a borderline 5-star. I think personally, had he gone to a bigger school, he probably would have ended up a 5-star because that's how those things go sometimes. But he stayed. He was a St. Francis Academy kid, just like Derek Moore and others that we've gotten. And he decided to stay home, and he kind of went the Chop Robinson route. I think my comp for him really is comparable to the linebacker version of Chop Robinson, where he goes to Maryland. He's a really good player for a while, and then he just explodes once he gets to a better team. Because Jayshon Barham was playing next to some linebackers at Maryland that weren't so great and having to cover up for some 100%. Of their mistakes. At Michigan, you got Ernest Hausman next to you, who's a much better linebacker. You've got a better defensive line ahead of you. Players are only good in the context of like the system and the other players are playing around. And now you insert that guy with that size and speed and athleticism into a much better defense, into a much better situation. I think, the sky's the limit for him this season, honestly. And then you think about Wink's system and how he likes to bring sim pressures and occasionally have ends drop out and rotate linebackers in on pressures. And Jayshon Barham can do it all. I mean, they were talking about how he knocks guys back 5 feet and things like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. I'm just like, even Sam echoed it today. Like, just, for anyone, like for me, like I catch as much Michigan content as I can, but there's so much. And now with what there's two things going on that's big for Michigan. You got Michigan Athletics is now putting out a bunch of content, like full press conferences and shit.
I see that.
So nice. And then you got Champion Circle doing these interviews with Jake Butt now, which this go to our hangout and I'll tell you about something about that. But those are interesting. There's some interesting stuff going on with those. But anyways, the point being is so much good content's coming out. And I forgot I was even going to go with it. But my point is, like, it's crazy, like the intel that we're getting. Like, I know where I wanted to go. They're saying that the linebackers are going to be completely better than last year. Like, the intel that we're getting from the Jake Butt interviews to what we're getting from the full press conferences now. Like, it's just crazy, like what is coming out of Schimbecker Hall right now about this defense,
We're even reaching a fever pitch of preseason hype right now, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. But if they're better than Junior Colson and Mike Barrett were last season, whew.
Well, I think they will be, to be honest with you. I think well, Junior Colson's nice, right? But he, word is, Barham's better. And then Hausman, I think we would agree. Barrett's nice, but Barrett was like, he's one of those, and we talked about this before, Juju. He's one of those like 5th-year guys who are just like, they took that next level.
Well, he wasn't a natural linebacker.
Right. Like but Ernest Hausman's like a literal like physical freak who's just good at, good at football. But I want to give a shout out here to Harry Frazier for the $1.99 super sticker. We appreciate that, man. Go blue. And then John has our update here. We are $93 away to unlock a second hour through super chats, memberships, and memberships. and membership gifts. They all count. So shout out to John keeping tally there for us. I appreciate that. But yeah, Juju. All right, Juju, how about this? I got Nick on the line. How about this? Give me your prediction for the game. First, who's going to start the game? Who's going to play more? And then what do you think the final score is going to be?
Ooh, who's gonna start the game? I think Alex Orji is gonna start the game. God, it's so tough. Oh, I think Alex Orji is gonna start the game. I do think he will play more because the coaches want him to win his job. They've showed us that so many times. He's been everywhere. Like, that's why I feel like he'll play more. But if Davis Warren comes in and he is lighting it up, we might see a drastic change in this quarterback battle. And final score, I'm gonna go 33. I'm gonna go 33-13.
Okay.
It's a good prediction. It's a good prediction. I like it.
All right, Juju. Well, maybe I'll hear from you on the post-game show. How about that, huh? You going to call in, bud?
You definitely will. I'll be there.
All right. Hell yeah, man. All right, I'll see you, Juju.
See you, man. Go blue.
Hell yeah. Juju, one of our favorite callers, always first in line. And another favorite caller, another ball knower, Darren. We got Nick on the line. What is up,
Here
Nick?
we go.
Yo, man. What's going on with Dion, dude? He's got a huge gut. He must have been eating good over the off season.
Shit, he's like missing half a foot, man.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Colorado just scored. Colorado just scored. 14-10, Colorado.
Hey, man.
I'm a little bit behind on that. I haven't even seen that yet.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
my bad. Spoiler.
They
Crazy
shout out
game
to
down
North
there.
Dakota State, man. I used to live in North Dakota.
Nice.
Nice. I spent some time in North Dakota.
Yeah, it's kind of a boring state, but it is what it is. It's a nice calm.
Hey, I will say some of the nicest people out there when I worked out there.
It's really strange, right? Because there's only like a few quote unquote big cities. They're really not, but like there's only a few, and they're all like spaced out hours within like from each other. It's a really different feel and terrain and all that stuff. But yeah, they're really laid back. I stayed out in when I went out there on a track scholarship to Minot State. It's like 50 miles from the Canadian border, and in the wintertime up there, I think with the wind chill and everything, a couple times it got like -40. So it was fun to try to train out in garbage like that. But
I can only imagine.
yeah. So anyway, dude, so you guys were talking a little bit about Sam Webb earlier today. So I didn't catch all of it, but it sounds like Evan Link has really taken a step forward, and then Dominic, is it Giudice? Dominic Giudice.
Yep. We'll learn it together.
I've been seeing Giudice this whole time, so I'm just really happy and thankful I was on tonight.
We had some guy who said he spent time in New Jersey, and it's pronounced Giudice, so it's and they were correct.
It is a New Jersey kind of sounding name. Yeah, that makes sense.
Giudice
is at center.
Yes.
Yeah. So apparently he's battling out at center. I don't know. I mean, look. So I still think Crippen's starting, but word out of Ann Arbor is that Giudice is really showing out, man. Like, it's not that Crippen's not playing well. Like, that's like I want to make that extremely clear to anyone who's just coming in watching the show, because our viewers are going up right now. It's not that Crippen and Raheem Anderson are not playing well. It's that Giudice is just balling. Like, he's just, he's looks, because like what's interesting is when he came in high school, or he came out of high school, he was a lowly ranked recruit, like Darren discussed. And one of the issues was he was a little stiff, and he wasn't quite fast enough to be a defensive end. So they moved him to offensive line. And by the way, this is a Jim Harbaugh project, okay? Jim Harbaugh literally selected this kid.
That's true, yeah.
So then they transitioned to offensive line, and then literally this kid is just flowering, bro. Like, he's just becoming legit. It's like, so Evan Link and Giudice have really stepped up in camp, which is great for the future of the offensive line because they're both young players. We'll see, man. I'm excited to find out how it goes. Evan Link is starting at right tackle. That's the word. And then, but in the center, we're going to find out. I still think it's Crippen, but I don't know, man. Like, we'll see how practice went today. And I'm sure tomorrow they're going to do walkthroughs. So,
we'll see. Key to I think our offensive line's secret sauce is, if you really look at the centers that we've had in this run, they're very cerebral. And give very high level of play. I mean, Oluwatimi was probably the best center we had this run, but he was a main reason why Donovan Edwards was able to break some of those long runs in the Ohio State game. You got to have a center who can communicate. And I mean, if he's, I mean, it's fine if the guy's younger, but I mean, if he's really raising the standard, I definitely would hope that he would start over Crippen. I mean, that kind of sucks for Crippen, but you got to have the best players on the field, man. So
yeah, man, the best man's got to win. It's what it is. And at the end of the day, look, it's a meritocracy, right? Just like Jim Harbaugh said, the best players will play. I'm sure that's that has transitioned under Sharon Moore. I'm sure. I mean, we know that because you see guys like Jair Hill taking, the second corner position, or Zeke Berry over Jaden McBurrows, right? So it's not about seniority. Yeah, I mean, it's great to see. Like, this is good. This is not bad. This is healthy, good competition. And when your youth is pushing the veterans, that means you have a good You're like, like if anyone was worried about
you're recruiting well, it means you're developing well. Yeah,
developing is happening. Development is happening, so that's great. But I want to give a shout out here to Bradley Forrester, $20 super chat. We appreciate that, Bradley. I'm so ready for Saturday night. Thanks, fellas, and go blue, Bradley.
Blue.
I'm so ready for football, man. Like, I don't even know what I want to do yet. Like, I'm trying to figure out my night. I got to do post game, so I'm like, all right, am I gonna have a beer? Am I not? I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Go ahead and have a beer. Why not, man? They drank on the ESPN Georgia Tech Florida State game live on air the other night. So
I'm thinking week 2. I'm gonna
2024, man.
I'm thinking week 2. I'm either gonna be celebrating or we're gonna be going through a therapy session. So we'll see.
I got something.
Well, hey, if you need me on, I do have the degree in the field. If you need some help,
there we go. Hey, I got you. Yeah. I got your number too. I'll be on speed. I'll be like, Darren, we need you tonight.
I'll help you grieve process. We'll go through the 12 steps.
Definitely. And then shout out to our tattoo trucker, Jesse, who's probably on the road right now. I'd bet $100 he is.
Gravedigger a man after my own heart with Gravedigger in the photo.
Oh, yeah. I know, dude. When I was a kid, bro, I loved monster trucks, man. And I actually, Gravedigger beats Snakebite and I cried. But, all right. So Cliff Richardson, you got a membership. Shout out to you. DK Fishing and Outdoors, you got a membership. Welcome to Wolverine Nation. Silent Ninja, you have a membership. Craig Goss, you have a membership. James Monroe, you have a membership. All thanks to Tattoo Trucker Jesse. Shout out to you, man. Safe travels. I'm sure you're out there.
Damn.
Yeah, shout out to the truckers out there.
And then Cliff just gifted. Thank you. So Cliff gives back. Shout out to Cliff Richardson, a member of actually a contributor to the channel. On a Tuesday point a minute show. Shout out to Cliff here. He gifted a membership to, let's see, who was that to? That was to Ralph, my boy. You are back, baby. Welcome back. Enjoy the emojis. Enjoy talking shit to the trolls. And Keegan, you might be right, my friend. You might be right. But yeah, Nick. So I mean, what are you most looking forward to outside of the quarterback battle? What are you most looking forward to Saturday night?
Saturday night, I have a newly peaked interest in Jaden Mangham. I guess I didn't realize he was all of 6'3". He seems like he has a pretty long wingspan.
I didn't know he was 6'3". I thought he was 6'2" or 6'1". That's interesting.
No, he's 6'3".
He was one of the few bright spots on State's secondary the last couple of years. Anyway,
and Michigan was really, really high on him. So I'm really curious to see what he looks like in this system. I think if he turns into what Lamar Morgan envisions, I think he could play a huge role. And we could look back and be very grateful that he was able to kind of maybe take with Rod Moore being out. I don't think a single player will be able to totally replace him, but I think he could be a key piece. And I didn't realize Michigan was as high on him as what Sam Webb. There was an interview earlier today, and I was watching it. But yeah, he's a pretty. I mean, he's skinny, but he's a big athletic guy. So hopefully that can provide us some advantages and help that positionless defense. So
Yeah, I'm actually. I mean, it's interesting. So he's not a name we heard a lot about, and the reason why, and I don't know if you've heard this, Nick, is so he's been really digesting the playbook. The names we've been hearing the most about for safety. Now, I'm not saying he won't get any field action because he very well may, but it's Wesley Walker. Well, Quentin Johnson, Makari Page are starting. Wesley Walker's backing up Quentin Johnson, and then there hasn't really been anyone who has been discussed as the true backup to Makari Page. So maybe Jaden Mingham is that backup. We're gonna find out, but from what I've heard is that the playbook's been a lot with the new Wink Martindale defense that's going on. I mean, it's not, obviously it's very familiar. It's very similar to what we ran last year, but apparently, his transition from Michigan State. I mean, I'm sure Michigan State was playing some simple as basic as defense. We're playing an NFL caliber defense. So there probably is a learning curve, right? So
we're not just playing cover 4 quarters every single damn play.
It's not just man. Hey, I got this guy. I got that.
Right. It's Michigan State for the last few seasons, even back to like D'Antonio, was either cover 1 or cover 4 palms every play. They just telegraphed it.
Yeah. I don't know how much he's going to play early on. He's just a player that I'm going to keep my eye on because if he develops and gets the playbook down, I think he could have a huge impact. For the defense. So, we'll see. They got other bodies too.
Well, I think it could be a little situational too. Like they all have different skill sets from what I understand. Wesley Walker played a lot more in like defenses that were more had higher tendencies to play towards the pass than against the run. And then Quentin Johnson could be more of a box safety in my opinion. So I think they got guys, and then Jaden Mangum can do a little bit of everything, I think, though I think he's a little bit better in pass coverage and definitely pretty good in man from what I've seen too. So it could be even like situational, but it's definitely good to know. It seems like the depth in the defensive back room is a lot better, at least than it was in the spring. I'll say that because it was a big concern back, especially after Keon Sabb left. I remember getting on here and talking to you guys about it. So
yeah, I mean, Rod Moore got injured. Keon Sabb transferred out. Yeah, I mean, well, dude, Quentin Johnson was a surprise. They didn't. Thank you, NIL. Thank you, Champions, for making that happen. Then they got the transfers, Wesley Walker, Jaden Mangum, and now we're looking like we have some depth back there. And then, I don't know if you heard Darren, but Rod Moore is looking to be back I don't know when, but he's looking to be back some point this season. I would say just based off injury around November, you would think. So yeah, man, the back end's looking good. I mean, we have depth at corner. We have depth at nickel. It's good. I don't know. I'm excited about it, man. I think it's in a good place, and we have young guys too. Like I haven't heard anything about Josiah Edmond at all this fall camp, but he's a highly ranked.
I almost forgot about him. Not gonna lie.
Exactly, because we haven't heard anything about him. He's a freshman, but I mean, it's so hard for freshman corners to, like Jair Hill didn't really do anything his freshman year. Will Johnson didn't really do too much until the year progressed. It's hard for corners.
Well, and corner is one of the more difficult jobs to come in, unless you're like a Travis Hunter or a Will Johnson or something. It's really difficult to come right in and start and play in your freshman season, right? And even Will Johnson took like a half a season or 3/4 of a season, really, before he was on the field a lot in his freshman season, and he was a 5-star caliber corner coming in. So yeah, it's hard. Most 4-star corners are going to take a year or two, especially in this system too. Again, we're not playing, Scotty Hazelton's defense here. So
exactly. Oh, it's a great point because the complexity. Let me give a shout out here to Tom. Tom, thank you for the gifted membership. Our boy Mac from the Point of Minutes show. So Cliff and Mac are back in the community for Michigan at the Voice of College Football. Enjoy those cheeseburger emojis. And actually, John, I think John's he's in the chat. I think we unlocked the new emoji for Blue Wolverines. So if you want to unlock that, that'd be cool. I'm pretty sure we made it. We needed one more, and we definitely surpassed that. And then I want to give a shout out to our boy Moose. What is up, Moose?
What's up, Moose?
Looks like old Moose might have been right all along with Warren. Michigan is warmer along with Stanford and Auburn for Babaloa. It looks like it's Michigan, Stanford, and Auburn in that order. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll give the Babaloa update. He's going to be announcing within, if not this week, it's next week. So he's going to be announcing, if it's not this week, it's next week. There was some smoke earlier in the week by Tom Loy. I'll give credit where it's due. Tom Loy, he said that he expects Babaloa to make an announcement this week. It might be next week, though. That's the word. It might be next week. So it's either this week or next week. It's coming. And here's what I'll say. It's been an academic battle, but it's not an academic battle anymore. Stanford, from my understanding, is third. Auburn's made some moves. Auburn's very aggressive right now. I'm sure people listen. We know we just lost Nate Marshall to Auburn. Notre Dame's about to lose Deuce Knight, their quarterback, to Auburn. Auburn is throwing major bags right now. They are one of the most aggressive teams right now.
Are they
New
turning
Kentucky.
into Texas A&M? Like, is this because I don't understand? I mean, yeah, go and get paid and do what you want, but like, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I was never super high on Nate Marshall.
I liked him.
He seemed, I don't know, his size, I don't know. I was never super high on him. I mean, it sucks to lose him, but this thing with Auburn, I mean, I guess I don't know a whole lot about them, but you would think that schools would start to learn, like, I mean, Miami, Auburn, Texas A&M, there's so much more that goes into winning games than just paying high school recruits. And do they not give a shit? Or like, what's the whole, what have you heard? Because Auburn, have they always been throwing bags around like this, or are they just now?
Well, yes and no. Like, they're an SEC team. They've always played ball. I mean, listen, Cam Newton took a lot of money to go to Auburn. If you remember, there was some scuttle about that when he played. But
wait, no one got paid before NIL. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No one made any money in college football. They were all student athletes. They were amateurs. Come on now.
Exactly. Yeah. So so Auburn recently, as of recently, and I also want to give Moose his flowers on Davis Warren. We'll see Moose on that one, okay, buddy. But listen, Auburn. Here's the reality, Nick, and I'm sure you're aware of this. We got Ohio State and Oregon with $23 million NIL budgets annually. Okay, so and Ohio. Let me tell you, revenue sharing hasn't even started yet. So I actually wanted to kind of get into this with Darren earlier about, I don't know, Nick, did you see that interview with Ward, Manuel and Sam Webb?
No, I didn't see it, but I still have my same stance. I think he's got to go. I don't think he's going to, but I don't really care what happens. I want Ward out of there.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, just for anyone who hasn't seen the interview, I highly recommend you check this interview out. It may not change your mind on the man. Just so you know, Nick, I'm also have not been a Ward fan, although I will say, since March, Ward has done his job, which is what I want out of my athletic director. Do your job. I do think his rationale behind some things is interesting, which we can get into, but we'll stay on topic.
Thank you, Santa Ono, for making Ward do his job.
Yeah. All right. And listen, I don't disagree with you, Nick. But so what's happening in college athletics right now is if you are not paying, you are behind. These kids are taking bags. They're all getting offered a lot of money. And not only that, they're using schools as leverage to get higher offers. You know what I mean? So what Auburn's doing is doing nothing any different than Ohio State, Oregon, and you do name teams like Texas A&M. Well, see, there's a problem though, Nick. You're not wrong, but you can't just buy kids. You need a culture. Ohio State, as much as we don't like Ryan Day and we think that culture is broken, at least there has been a culture in place since Urban Meyer to where there's at least a foundation where they can. And we'll give Ryan Day a little credit here. Offensively, he's a brilliant mind. Offensively, he's just not a leader of men. I think we can all agree with that. But you know, he's one of the top offensive minds in college football. You know, and they develop skilled players very well. Just not offensive linemen or defensive linemen.
Like Auburn is
or linebackers.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, just Ohio State's garbage. But go on there.
I was just gonna say, like Auburn is at least a 5-loss team this year. Don't they still have Peyton? What's his nuts?
Peyton Thorne, the former Spartan. Yep.
What I just, it's fine. Like, I guess waste your money. And Nate Marshall, like, great, go get your $500,000 and not get developed and not do shit at Auburn and probably get drafted in the 6th round or go undrafted. Like, I guess that $500,000 is worth all that, but
well, I think in not to play like devil's advocate too much here, if you don't mind me interrupting, but I think there's a lot to it too. A lot of these kids, you know, don't necessarily come from the best socioeconomic backgrounds and things like that. So it is kind of an influence, you know. Sometimes if it's, you know, you come from a poor family in a poor area and you have a school that's an SEC school, with some history and tradition, and maybe they're not the best school at the moment, but they're offering you like life-changing money to go there and play college football and get a pretty good degree. Auburn's a private school. It's a good degree. They pay you all kinds of money. I mean, that's, sometimes the kid's best interest from their point of view just isn't the same as from our point of view, because I don't think he'll get developed there either. And I think it's a lot like, I'm blanking on names with the kid that we lost to, the edge player we lost to Miami last cycle, where he's going to go to Miami and probably not.
What do you mean, the linebacker Aaron Childs? The year before that, we lost.
Something. There was an edge player, I think. Yeah, something like that. But they just go to these schools and they don't get developed necessarily. Probably not going to compete for national championships. But in their eyes, they're confident in their abilities. I've never met a high school player who was a highly rated recruit that wasn't uber confident in themselves, and they're usually confident in their ability to get to the NFL no matter where they go, unless they're going to Ferris State or Grand Valley or something like that, some D2 school. But I think sometimes it's important to look. And my thing really is just to kind of wrap a bow on my take about this real quick, is the way I see it is Michigan has really built a foundation on one of the toughest strength and conditioning programs in the country. And what that requires of kids is that their heart and soul is poured into playing football and loving football and getting better at the game of football. And if you're a kid who's more in it for the money, if you're someone whose heart maybe isn't in the same place when it comes to loving football as much, maybe football is something you're doing for the money. Honestly, I don't know if I really necessarily want you here, because you probably aren't going to, it's almost similar to, like, not to make this analogy too seriously, but it's almost similar to like getting into the Marine Corps or something. Don't do it unless your heart is fully in it, because it's tough. That strength and conditioning program, that the way that Michigan develops their players, they put players through the millstone. And if your heart's not really entirely in it, if your heart's not really entirely into playing for Michigan, in my opinion, I don't care who you are, go somewhere else, get your money, do your thing.
That's why I'm okay with Nate Marshall going to, like, I'm not that upset about it. I just don't, just the smoke and how that whole recruitment went. He never seemed like a fit. He did not seem like a culture fit. He's exactly the type of guy who would go get a bag at the last minute. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, like, a lot of times you can look at a player and be like, yeah, that's going to work on them. But like,
it can be a frustrating thing, but not necessarily be like wrong.
And I agree with your point, but I think that's only looking at a portion of it. There's been plenty of players who have not grown up rich and went to Michigan and have been compensated and were fine. And the other thing, so that happens plenty. It's not like if you go to Michigan and you don't go to Auburn or Tennessee and take the bag that you're not going to make money and you're going to end up poor and it's not going to work out for you. But like, the other thing too is, like, I just saw, I don't know how accurate this is, but I read that Champion Circle's now ranked as like a top 15 collective in the country. And yeah, they're not going to maybe necessarily pay high school recruits while they're in high school, but Jaden Davis got right into Michigan and he signed NIL deals right away. The presentation's just different, but guys are going to make a lot of money at Michigan if you work hard and you do your job. And on top of that, you're probably going to be happier that you went to Michigan in the long run, because probably going to get a much higher chance at a bigger payday in the NFL. And NFL contracts make what colleges are handing out look like pennies. So I get it. Like, maybe a kid really needs like a couple extra 100,000 up front because of his situation. I don't have an issue with that. I just think, like, that's not really looking at the entire picture, like.
I hear you.
That's
hear
understandable.
I think, listen, I think you have a fair argument, but like, the reality is the market's what the market is, right? The market is now. So imagine this though, Nick. See, I don't know how old you are. I don't know how old you are, but I'm going to tell you right now, the reason why you have the perspective you do is because you have experience, you've aged, you've looked at things a little differently. Now imagine being a 17-year-old kid. You're the shit. You're one of the top 100 players in the nation. And you see all these athletes from when you're youth on video game covers with their jewelry, with their cars. You see, You see the people you idolize, you mold your game off of, getting signed these big contracts. You want to be the man too, bro. You know what I mean? Like, imagine being a young kid at 17 and everyone is like, these schools are texting these kids like they're trying to go out with them. Like they're literally trying to court.
Yeah,
kids.
I
They're
don't
courting them.
disagree.
That's-
I don't disagree with you. That's why I'm not for like trying to stop. Like I'm not saying, hey, report Nate Marshall to the NCAA. Like so we got to stop this. Like, we can't. We got to ruin this because I'm not advocating for any of that. If he wants to go do that, go ahead. But I think we're all sitting here pretty confident of how this is probably going to turn out. And my opinion is he probably would have been developed better and had a better shot at a productive pro career at Michigan.
Well, I think that is fair, Nick. I really do. And I listen, you're not wrong. There's like, that's the interesting thing, right? It's like, what approach is the right approach, right? Like, well, I think we'd agree. Listen, and here's the thing too. So, I don't think you. So you said Michigan doesn't pay high school players. They will pay them as soon as they sign their letter of intent. As soon as they sign their letter of intent, they will pay them. Now, you are right that there are other schools, and I'll name a school for Florida State, for example. There are other schools paying kids while they're currently in high school. Now, there's also other schools like Missouri, because of state law, that allows them to pay kids. So I don't know if anyone, there's people who might not know, and I want to give a shout out here to Moose here in a minute, but and also our other everyone else contributing. We have made it to another hour, everybody, so we will be going a second hour. Darren, if you ever have to go, you can leave at any time you want, or you can stick around, talk ball with us.
I'm hanging out. I'm enjoying myself. I'm watching North Dakota State.
Yeah, winning right now.
Colorado on a 4th and 1.
So
this is everything I've hoped and dreamed for.
But yeah, so regarding the Missouri thing, no, let me just hit on this, Nick, and then let me get to these contributors too, and then we'll get back to it. But Missouri has a state law where they can, if you commit to an in-state school in the state of Missouri, the schools can start paying you NIL money. And then I don't know if anyone saw this recently, but there's a high school mom. I think it's out of California. Wild. There's a certain state where she's suing the state because her kid can't get NIL money in high school. So that just happened like a week ago. So very interesting. And then John, we're gonna get to you in a little bit. But let me give a shout out here to Moose. We got a bunch of contributors right now. Moose, $18 to go for another hour. We have hit it, Moose. Thank you so much, Moose. You are our boy. Appreciate you. Moose, we made it to the season. Let's freaking go, bro. Bradley Forrester, what is up, man? You have contributed $30 tonight. Thank you, Bradley. You have helped us achieve the second hour tonight. Shout out to you, Go Blue. And then we also have Dave's here, gifting a membership. Let's see if I can get to that. Yep, I got it. Buckeyes 2024 Natty. You know you're not. You just got a membership. Enjoy your membership because you're not getting a natty.
Shout out to Buckeyes 2024 Natty. He's on my channel.
Dude, real quick.
I do. Trolls bit, but I appreciate it.
This Cam Miller kid is just killing Colorado. I don't know if Colorado's defense blows, but this dude is fucking them up right now. This is hilarious.
Deion looks like he's going through it right now, bro. He's like, I just saw him on the sideline. Yeah. He's like, oh, shit. He's like, this will be a long night. Blue Wolverine, $9.99 super sticker. We have a new emoji that has been unlocked. I know John's been, and people have been shooting it in the chat. Thank you, Blue Wolverine. You have been an excellent contributor to the show. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you. Thank you for contributing to the show. We also have Moose again with the $3. Moose making it happen. Thank you, my friend. Stephen Powers with the $9.99 super sticker. Shout out to Stephen Powers. Thank you. We are here. The season has started. We have Les Austin Jr., best Michigan community on YouTube. Thanks. I agree, Les. I really do. We have the best damn community in I think one in the network. That's facts. And then secondly, I think we have the best community in all of Michigan content. Now, don't get me wrong. 247 on 3, they have their things. That's a little different. We're strictly YouTube. And I'll put our community up against anybody. And then that's all of our contributors. Thank you, everybody who has contributed. John, if you could do me a favor, get a tally on that and get me updated.
Got them rolling in here.
Yeah, we're doing it. We made it to the second hour. We appreciate it. It means a lot to us. It really does. So thank you, everybody. But yeah, Nick. Listen,
I guess,
and I wanted to hit on this too, though. So you didn't see the Ward Manuel interview. He mentioned you probably haven't gotten this update, so I'll give everybody the update. Yeah, go ahead, Nick. Go for it. I'll hit on it.
Let me just quick say this about Ward. I want to clear this up because I've been a critic of him. Like, I'm not saying Ward is a terrible AD. I just think there's a standard at Michigan. And as soon as I saw the president come in and essentially handle everything far more effectively than Ward, I can't get that out of my head. And I think that there's no reason why Michigan could not get a better AD. That's just a better fit. I'm not saying Ward's a terrible athletic director or a terrible guy, but like I said, I just think there's a standard, and I don't think he clears that hurdle. But that's just me. So.
Yeah. Well, I think if I can interject real quick, something on Santa Ono real quick. One of the big positives that people mentioned about him when he did become president, just to play devil's advocate here for a little bit again, was that he is very involved in the athletic department of whatever university he's at. And that's not always a thing with university presidents. I think it's important to remind everyone that outside of the athletic department, Michigan is still one of the bigger schools in the entire country, and obviously a very prestigious school too. There's a lot to be done as the university president, even outside of athletics, and yet Santa Ono has made it a point to be very involved. So I don't necessarily know how much of it was him having to step in or him just wanting to step in, but I think that's an important point to make there too. And also Ward Manuel, and I don't know how much, and it'd be impossible to kind of test and research and measure how much of an effect he personally has had on this, but it is a good point to make, I think, to point out that since he's been the athletic director at the University of Michigan, between all sports, Michigan has won a shit ton of Big Ten titles, across 13, all the sports. When you look at the athletic department as a whole, I think it's more Big Ten titles than the rest of the conference. So it's important to point out too that his job isn't just football and basketball and the sports that we watch. His job, and I think that's the thing with Ward that gets him a lot of critique, is some of the moves that he makes is within the interest of sports like softball and volleyball and baseball and the sports that don't make a lot of aren't the revenue generators. He's thinking of all the sports in the entire athletic department. Now, do I think he's perfect? Absolutely not. I think he deserves criticism myself, but I think there's a lot of nuance to this as well that deserves to be pointed out.
Yeah. Okay. So there actually is a lot. It's actually a great discussion. So as Darren talked about, we have won 13 Big Ten championships the last 2 years. The closest one is Penn State with 5. So we're kicking ass in all non revenue sports as well. Michigan is a very strong athletic program, and it will always be a strong athletic program. And listen, as I've said since March, Ward Manuel has done his job, and that's all I ask for. Do your job. I do want someone to be proactive and aggressive, but to Corey G's point, so shout out to Corey G. He says y'all don't get it. He has people above him to answer to. That is true. Not only does he have to answer to Santa Ono, who's above him, but the regents, which is who's Corey G's, and there's donors who do make calls. I'm sure we're all aware of Stapleton and others, and I'm sure there's people being like, well, Stapleton doesn't have that much influence. Listen, people with a lot of money do have more influence than you imagine.
People throwing their money around at a big university. Yeah. Who would have thought?
There is definitely a group of individuals who are not regents who also have say at the university. Stephen Ross has say at the University of Michigan there, and it's not just Stephen Ross. There's others. Like, people didn't even know about Stapleton until about a year ago when shit became public. There is definitely a higher society at Michigan that, in terms of financial influence.
Stapleton.
And others. And well, listen, here's the deal, right? And Corey's not wrong, because here's the truth. There are regions, a lot of regions have been split on a lot. NIL, there were regions for it, there were regions not for it. Okay. Now, I think a lot of regions recently have seen over time that they need to evolve with the times. And that is why you're seeing a change. Now, what I wanted to hit on, Nick, about the Ward Manuel interview with Sam Webb, and again, I recommend everybody check that out because it is very interesting. Ward Manuel, he talked about a lot.
I'll watch it tonight.
I highly recommend it. It's worth everyone's time. It's worth everyone's time. Sam does a great job. And also Ward made a promise to come back on before the end of the year. Ward actually gave into a lot. They even talked about the NCAA. But what I want to hit on is Ward Manuel confirmed that they're going to do $23.5 million in revenue sharing. He did not discuss, but I'll tell you what I've heard. He did not discuss how much is going to go to the football team. I'll tell you the figure I'm hearing. And what he did say is they're not going to cut non-revenue sports. Other schools, if anyone's paying attention to this discussion right now, there are a lot of schools, not only in the Big Ten, but even SEC, of course, who are talking about cutting programs to create more revenue for their football teams. Now, the number I'm hearing, or what I'm hearing is being discussed with Michigan right now, and it seems to be heading in this direction, is they are going to go, and some people are going to be upset with this, they're going to go 50-50 men and women's sports, Okay, so that leaves what? 11 or like 11-7 about to the men's side, and the football team is going to get about 7 million in shared revenue. So that's what I'm hearing right now. That's the talk. So we'll see. We'll see. I would like, and I think a lot of us would agree, I'd like the football team to probably get about 12, the basketball team to get about 5, and then everyone else can split it amongst themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's revenue share, then it should go to the revenue sports. Now, I don't have an issue with some of the non-revenue sports getting a little bit, like that's fine, because we want those teams to win too. I like hockey. I like seeing the wrestling team win. You know, I want the freaking girls basketball team to be sweet. So like, I don't have an issue with that, but like a lot of this is the football team makes the revenue, the TV contract is why there's so much revenue to begin with. So, I mean, you know, we'll see though. Nothing's finalized. Ward Manuel says nothing's been decided.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Dividing up, but that's so temporary. There's no way that the football program's not going to eventually be. It's inevitable they're going to be making far more than that. So I don't even like whatever. But yeah, I'll check out the Ward Manual thing later. By the way, dude, I just want to say this. Put out this PSA. Fuck Danny Cannell.
What do you do now? What do you do now?
I don't
really pay much attention to the ESPN analysts anymore. I'm not going to lie, but
he is a brain dead mouth breather at this point, and I think he's a total disgrace. Did he play in the NFL? I think he did.
I think he was a backup or something like that for a little while.
How be so fucking stupid and be a professional at like that just blows my mind.
What happened? You got to give people some context. What happened?
No, did you see his reaction to the documentary? Which I didn't even watch the documentary.
No, I didn't. I did not see his reaction.
Okay, let me see if I can quickly find it because I just want to make sure. I don't even think it's possible for me to exaggerate it. But let me just see here. Okay, so... And he elaborated on this on the Cover 3 podcast and doubled down, and it was even worse. But, like, he said, I wanted to hear more details before really having a strong opinion on what Michigan did, which, first of all, that's a fucking lie. He's been talking shit about this for months. So, first sentence, and you lied, Danny. Great. But it's clear they clearly cheated. They have blatantly lied about the extent of it. They deserve harsh punishment. The entire Harbaugh era at Michigan is tainted.
Damn. You know what's funny is you hear Josh Pates or you hear Joe Klatt's response to it, or even JD Pickle, or like you. It's so interesting to see the difference opinions on everything. Like there's so many people are like I love Joe Klatt. He's like, it's not even close to tainted. It's not even close to asterisk. So like whatever, man. Danny Cannell. It is what it is, man.
He has an axe to grind in Michigan. He has an axe to grind. He's pissed that Florida State didn't make the playoffs this year.
That's what I was going to say. I thought he went full grievance on the Florida State thing, too.
Yeah, and he's never spoken highly of Michigan before. And there's these most of the people who think, let's just be clear, most of the people who fell for this canard have a bias built in against Michigan. I mean, almost everyone who thinks this was a big deal, if you just look at like Rick Neuheisel, former football coach, but the dude is completely out of his mind and he's an idiot. And obviously you have this Danny Cannell thing saying the entire Harbaugh era was tainted. I just want to keep pounding the desk for this because this has been a narrative that goes around. The Ohio State fans want to say, well, Michigan's closer to the 2-4 program. Then they all of a sudden just started getting good. 2016, they lost 3 games by a total of 5 points. They were on the doorstep to making the college football playoff. They lost to Iowa by 1 point.
Yep.
And then we all know what happened in that bullshit debacle with the refs in Columbus. But like, dude, they've been, and even in 2018, yes, did they lose to Notre Dame? But then I think they rattled off 10 straight, and were multiple years they were ranked in the top 5 before 2020, near the end of the season. So they've been on the doorstep of the playoffs. It's just these. I don't need to waste any more time on it.
It is what it is. F those dudes, Ohio State, enjoy your L this force. Steve, I see you in the chat. I agreed with you earlier, Steve, about recruiting. I agree. No need to cry about recruiting, just do better. I agree with that stance, but I disagree with your current stance. They can't see you though because you're on Twitter. But hey Nick, all right, how about this? I got some callers line up on the line. Let me get who do you think is going to start on Saturday? Who do you think is going to play the most? And give me your prediction for Saturday's game.
Well, obviously, I think Michigan's going to win. I give the score prediction. We'll go 31-7.
Okay.
We'll go 35-7. Well, I think Alex Orji's going to start. I do think Davis Warren is going to play some. I expect Alex Orji to perform well. I will say, I am not in the camp of if Alex Orji starts, let's try to avoid risk and kind of slow down the tempo and like I just think Alex Orji is the type of guy, if you're going to go with him as the starter, if he's ever going to reach his full potential, which I think is very high, I think you can't play it too safe with him. Got to let him make some mistakes. Yeah, maybe we lose the Texas game by letting it loose with him. But I think if you go with Alex Orji, which I think they ultimately will, I think he's enough of a freak where you just gotta kind of let it all hang out. And you're probably going to get a few bad passes a game, maybe a pick, but I think the upside more than makes up for that. So,
well, I think those are fair points.
Yeah, well, I will say this to everybody: expect a vanilla offense, regardless of who's at quarterback. I think they'll put them in a position to succeed? I do, but they're not gonna do a lot because we got Texas the next week. Like, just be mindful of that. But all right, Nick, I appreciate your phone call, man. Thank you for calling in. Hopefully, I hear from you on Saturday's post-game show. Go Blue, my friend.
Hell yeah, man! Go Blue. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
Go Blue. Thanks.
Yep. All right. Let me give a shout out here to Antoine King. Great show, fellas. Go Blue. $99. He's also waiting in line. We will get to Antoine, but before we get to Antoine, we have our boy, my boy, and co-host John D'Adamo. What is up, man?
Hey, everybody. Go Blue.
What's up, John?
I'm just living it. I got four screen multi-view going, YouTube TV. I'm watching Colorado have to play hero ball against North Dakota State. So
I know people in my Discord are going off right now on it. Over on the Darren Talks Ball Discord. If you want to join, and the link is over in my channel description. That was a good plug by me. I'm usually not that smooth. No, I see. I'm getting updates from my Discord on it right now. People are having a fun time about it over there.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna keep this brief because I know we've got some YouTube members here waiting in the queue. But lots of smoke about Davis Warren. I was actually Chris Ballas responded to me because I was like, I was pretty confident it was Orji. Chris Ballas is like, well, this person wasn't. I forget who he mentioned, but it was like, it's a little bit of back and forth with Chris Ballas there. That's always nice.
Chris Ballas has a Twitter?
On the message board.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, on 3. But, sometimes he's right, sometimes he isn't, so we'll have to see. But, I still think it's going to be Orji, but I wouldn't be surprised to see like what Harbaugh did with Cade and JJ, but a condensed version of it. What if Orji took quarter 1, Warren took quarter 2, Orji took quarter, and that way it's not first half Orji and then Davis has to play with in the garbage duty with the 2s, so that way you split it up. But regardless, I think you're going to see both of them. And I'm very curious as to, even though it's going to be a very vanilla offense, you're still going to see, Crippen's probably on a short leash at start if he's the starting center, and Evan Link maybe as right tackle right away. So there's going to be some things to look at, even though we're not going to be Michigan's not going to be showing a lot either way. Elvis Nation is here. He's got a great channel. And actually Mark Rogers, Voice of College Football, has co-hosted that show.
Not surprised.
I've seen
Not
Mark is a
surprised.
big Elvis guy. I love it.
He is a big Elvis guy.
I don't know if we get along though. I'm more of a Carl Perkins guy. I'll have to bring that up to him if I'm ever on a thing.
Yeah,
Hopefully he doesn't hear it. I might not be able to have you on
Yeah,
again.
I know, right? Right.
You guys
Joey
can have
Foster's
it out
in the
on that
house.
one.
Shout out Joey.
Yeah.
Joey
West Virginia
Foster
voice,
here.
yep, West Virginia Voice College Football Show. But
Awesome.
yeah, John. Well, how about this? Since you're here, man,
Yeah.
give us who's starting, who's going to play the most Saturday, and what is your prediction for the game?
Yeah, like I said, I think Alex Orji takes snap 1. That's my guess. But there's smoke going the other direction, so who the hell knows? But I'm thinking quarter 1 Alex Orji, quarter 2 Davis Warren, quarter 3 Alex Orji, quarter 4 Davis, and then maybe a little Jaden Davis in the quarter 4.
No. We
Well,
gotta
but
protect
quarter 4, you're looking
Jaden. We gotta protect Jaden. We need him for next year, man.
He's had good reports.
He can play 4 games. He can play 4 games redshirt.
True.
Yeah. But
so you want to get him some live fire.
Yeah, but right now you got to give all the reps you can to Warren and Orji right now.
Yeah,
it's not time for Jaden Davis.
Yeah.
It's time for Jaden Davis in like October, at the end of October, when we're crushing somebody. You know.
What if it's like 56-10 or something like that?
Yeah, you might see him get like 2 series or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Now my prediction is 27-13 Michigan. So we wouldn't see it in that scenario, but
don't overlook Fresno State too much. I'm telling you guys.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not a cupcake. They're not Akron.
Well, when you broke them down, they sounded like shit, Darren.
That's just me doing a good job, baby. You got to start off low and build it up, you know?
Yeah, under promise, over deliver.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, anyways, all I'm here to say, we're $76 away from unlocking a third hour. So keep the super chats and memberships coming. We've got the blue Wolverine emoji.
Yeah, we did
officially unlocked, and that's because Blue Wolverine. Throw the Blue Wolverine in the chat if you want to. Blue Wolverine has been extremely generous and extremely kind to us, and he also goes hard in the paint, not just on Michigan podcasts, but on Buckeye podcasts. So he's over there fighting the good fight over on the Buckeye pod. So love the Blue Wolverine emoji, and glad we could finally pop that off. And I just encourage everybody to check out the Saturday night Michigan post-game call-in show live. We're bringing it back. Second year doing the call-in show format for the post-game show. And, TJ's going to be bringing his, he's going to be bringing his, special insight and analysis as well. So I'm pretty pumped about it. And that'll be after every single game.
Yep. Yeah, looking forward to that, man. I'm actually stoked to do some post game this year. It's gonna be a good time. Hopefully, everyone's down to talk some ball after the game. Hopefully, though, it's all good every game. Like if like last year, I feel like would have been amazing. You didn't have to worry about any losses. We were on we had a great year, but obviously there was a bunch of chaos going on, whatever. But outside of that, man, that would have been great to do post game. But yeah, I'm stoked to do post game this year. Looking forward to it. But I don't know, man. There's part of me that thinks we're gonna handle Fresno. New head coach. Left tackle's gone. But I will say where this quarterback, it's hard to be confident. I don't want to say confident, but it's hard to be overconfident when there's just a little uncertainty,
Yeah,
exactly.
So we'll see on that. Yeah, we'll see on that. I mean, that's just I don't know. Cause reports have been so good out of camp. So, I mean, I think it was Juju who brought it up earlier that Alex Orji had a bad day. He threw 3 picks, but up to that day, he only threw 3 picks all camp. He was crushing it, playing really well. So going through his progressions, he was developing. So, but Davis Warren's played really well, which we've had for you guys every week on fall camp updates. We talked about how Davis Warren was at his heels. So we'll see. The good news is this: if Davis Warren's playing as well as he is, just like Giudice, if Giudice is playing as well as he is, these are good things. These aren't bad things. So it's not because people are playing poorly outside of the right tackle situation where Evan Link's starting to shine. But really we only have one position where that's kind of happening. Everywhere else, it's just excellent play is showing. So they're earning the job. That's just what it comes down to. So, we're not in a bad spot there.
I will say this, if Dave, and then we could, I know Elvis Nation just gave a contribution, contrib there.
Yeah, so let's give a shout out to them. So shout out to Elvis
Yeah.
Nation, $10 super chat, best Michigan analysis, my go-to. We appreciate you, man. Thank you. We will always bring that fire, always bring you the most up-to-date information we possibly can. So we appreciate you.
Absolutely. So that brings it, I believe, to 66 to unlock a third hour.
What's the limit on this, by the way? You guys just gonna keep going and going? I feel like
I'll go 24 hours.
I'm
if
gonna
that's what
need
it
some
takes.
people. I was gonna say, are we gonna go right up to the Fresno State game on Saturday night?
Wouldn't that be something?
I
If
feel
they
like you guys are
bring-
gonna look like the skeleton meme after a while, to sit
That
on
would
a
be-
park bench.
I'll
Like
just
I
be
needed
like-
to get out.
Some
I
Red Bull.
needed out.
Yeah.
There you go. Just living off a Red Bull and
Yeah.
whatever
Red
you can
Bull.
warm up in the mic. I'm gonna pop in on this later, and TJ's just gonna be asleep in his chair.
Yeah, I'll be like, game time will be here, and I'll be passing out.
Yeah.
Anyways, I know you guys have 2 callers
Yep.
to go, so I guess my last point is if the smoke is right and Davis Warren does win the job and is starting on Saturday, then that's incredible, because every single thing, like, they have been preparing for Orji to start since November 2023. They've been setting him up for this moment. And every operation has been in his favor. And so if Davis Warren has just outplayed him to that degree with his pass game, that's only good. That is only a good thing for Michigan. Bad for my January prediction that he was going to be a depth guy, but I'm happy to eat shit on that one if Davis Warren just crushes it and leads Michigan to the playoff.
Hey, that's part of the business, right? I'll eat some crow too. My last 3 Michigan videos have all been, I think it's Alex Orji. So
there it is. He again.
All right, John. Well, I'm going to get to Antoine here. Appreciate you, man. I will see you in 2 days.
Yes.
So I'll see you there, my friend. And go blue.
Saturday night. Go blue, everybody.
Go blue.
Absolutely. See you, John. Hell yeah, man. So, I mean, yeah, we got 2 days till game day. I'm watching North Dakota State for a score update. I'm sure everyone's actually checking in on that. 20-14, Colorado. Not looking good, man. The Dion. I mean, you know what's funny too, Darren, to talk about this game a little bit, or Colorado. His son's going to the NFL this year.
Yeah,
he's not staying at Colorado. Like the Colorado hype is dumb. And if
they lose to an FCS school, by the way, just a little piece of advice for college football ADs and coaches: don't schedule the North Dakota schools, man. The North Dakota schools are nightmare FCS teams. North Dakota State, I haven't looked it up. They'd probably be favored to beat some lower level FBS teams. They're that good. This game was a trap game to begin with, because Colorado is not great, in my opinion. Like you were saying, and Dion's probably going to leave because I think his interest is mostly in coaching Travis Hunter and his kids and moving on.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I wish they'd get brought up to the group of 5. You know, they should be brought up to the group of 5. You know,
they should. Yeah.
But Joey Foster here says I super chatted $5. Joey, I don't know, did you do that on our channel or did you do that on Mark's 24-hour stream? But regardless, I hope you guys are still live in the morning. We are having a storm that knocked me off. About time I go by, it didn't show, but says I bought it. Oh, it didn't show. Interesting. All right. Well, shout out to you, Joey. Thank you for your $5 super chat. I don't know why it didn't show, but shout out to you, man. Appreciate your contribution. I'm sure John will take a look at that for us. Speaking of Buckeye Scoop, man, you know, Darren, you're lucky you're not on social media. Because I swear the shit they put out, bro, is just I don't understand how they have followers. I don't understand. Like, it's constant lies, and it's the most extreme shit ever. Like, it is wild.
The grift, man. It's welcome to the modern day Wild West internet. It's the grift. It's I'm trying not to get political or anything here, but it's the same kind of shit that you see a lot of people in like news and politics sharing just the wildest, most sensational stuff.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah. Hey, Joey, just a heads up. John says he can't see your super chat, so maybe just cut off before it went through. I don't know, but thank you anyways, Joey. And let's bring up our next caller, Antoine King. What is up, man?
What is going on, fellas? How we doing today?
Great, man. Football's back.
Oh, it is, man. Dude, what is going on with this quarterback news, man? What the hell happened? I thought Orji had this shit locked up, man. Am I the only one who says this is actually really bad news?
I think a lot of it depends on how you look at it. Really, it's really hard to tell because we're not there. We're not in the practices. So
yeah.
And look, we all saw the spring game. Yeah, it was no question who the best passer was. I grant that, but the best weapon any of them had was Alex Orji's legs.
Right.
And everything was set up for dude, we got the top tight end in the league. Every wide receiver, what are they best at? Crossing routes. And Donovan Edwards can catch them. It was perfect for someone who's not that great of a passer, and he still couldn't get the job. Dude, I'm worried, man. I see this as something that's could be a real problem, especially the whole offense outside of the tight end room is a question mark, isn't it? Too. I mean, we have faith in Sharon Moore's O-line. We don't know. I mean, there's a whole lot of questions, man. I see this as I don't know, man. I'm nervous now.
I'm not nervous. I think here's another thing too, man. Some dudes show up in games, right? We're gonna find out. The test, they have prepared for the test all summer, all spring, all summer, all fall. The test is Saturday, right? We're gonna see how these dudes play, and Davis Warren may very well be our answer. It's possible, and if Davis Warren's the answer, then all we need is above average quarterback play. We have the defense, we have the offensive line, we have the running backs, we have everything. We have weapons developing at the wide receiver position. We have the tight ends. The tight end room is stacked. And for anyone who missed my camp update on Tuesday, Samaj Morgan's playing very well. Tyler Morris is playing very well. There hasn't been a lot of talk about the X position. Fred Moore has been manning that. We'll see how that goes. But outside of the X position, there's been a lot of hype at some of these other positions. So it's like JJ going to the Minnesota Vikings. The team is set up for a quarterback to just do his job and be above average. If you're above average, we are a playoff team. We are a playoff team. So we'll see. I don't know. I got faith in it, man. I'm kind of excited about it. And how do we know Alex Orji is not going to show out? He may very well play very well on Saturday.
And he very well may still be the starter. I mean, these are just rumors floating around out there from what I've seen. I haven't seen anything official yet.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to talk over you. But let me also just qualify this. And I think we're all going to understand what I'm about to say. The source of this intel is the same source that Jack Tuttle was leading the QB battle going into camp. Okay. I'm just going to, that's where the word is coming out of. Okay. The same information is coming from the same place that Jack Tuttle was the leader for QB1. Okay. So now, because I said, I haven't heard, only thing I've heard is Davis Warren's played well. I've not heard that he's going to be QB1 over Alex Orji. That's not my guys never told me that. So, I don't know. I'm in wait and see mode. I'm curious. Okay, is this the case? Then let's see how it goes. But I don't want to name no names, even though I just slipped a little bit. But there is the same individual who pushed the Jack Tuttle narrative is pushing the. But maybe he's right because I'll say this too. He's been right about shit. It's not like he's wrong. It's just he wasn't right about the one thing. So. We'll see. I don't know. We're in wait and see mode right now. I don't want anyone to get too worried because a lot of people got a little worried about the Jack Tuttle news too, but we never bought that. We never pushed that on our channel.
No, totally, man. I get it. And I'm probably over exaggerating a little bit, man. We'll see what happens, dude. There's a lot of dude, the defense is going to be amazing, man. I'm not worried about them at all. There's a lot of things to be excited about. And of course we still got talent, dude. And it's going to be okay, man. Honestly, I kind of want to see some of the young guys because I might get some chance to play early on, man. Because, dude, next year, if we don't kill it in the portal, I'm talking double-digit guys coming in, it's going to be 7, 8, 9 wins, man, depending on that. We're losing a lot next year, dude.
Well, they said that. They said that last year, though, man. I think we have a lot of youth coming, to be honest with you. Look, the running back room's good. The tight end room's good. Defensively, though, yeah.
Well, we did.
You're talking Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant. I'll be real with you. I haven't looked at next year yet because I'm stuck on this year and it's about to begin. But I think Michigan's in an okay position. Here's what I do know. And Ward Manuel talks. That's again. I really recommend everyone watch this interview with Sam Webb. But Ward Manuel talked about, and he's not wrong. This is true. There is a culture issue, and he said this. There's a culture or an ideology issue at Michigan where our donors, our boosters, did not feel comfortable. Paying players. And Ward Manuel said in this interview that is beginning to shift. And the reason why that's shifting is one, we almost lost a bunch of players in January. We almost lost a bunch of players in April. Dusty May has done an amazing job of rallying and persuading our donors and telling them, look, we have to be competitive. Like Sharon Moore is also doing his thing, but Dusty's more aggressive from what I've heard. But at the end of the day, you're seeing this transition within Michigan. We've seen it. Listen, Michigan's at 12.5 million in NIL collective. They were at 4 million last year. They've tripled it. Their goal is to get to 15 million by December. They're improving by the month, and that's something we've talked about on our show. And from what I've heard this is maybe this will ease you a little bit here, Antoine. They plan to be aggressive in the portal, and they plan to have a top 5 class. Their goal is a top 5 class for 2026. So we'll see. They already got Brady Hart. We'll see how it goes. They also got Jennings, the corner out of Florida. So we already have 2 blue chips in the fold. So we'll see, man. I mean, I'll tell you this: Michigan's not going to settle. They're not going to accept mediocrity. That's not happening.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. If we hit the portal hard, I mean, that'll definitely ease the damage a little bit too. I mean, we did lose a lot this year, but we still had like the Mason Graham, you know the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, the commit class too. That'll be good for the future. I mean, it's going to be the 2023 class next year that's really going to have to step up, and that was a really good class.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Things like that. And problem is next year though, man, like we're getting 5 new offensive linemen this year. We could just as easily get 4 new offensive linemen for next year. So
I haven't looked at this. I'll be real with you. I just haven't looked this far ahead.
And Donovan's gone, and Davis will probably be the quarterback next year. Like the whole offense could once again have a complete turnover again. And not only that, we'll also have a complete turnover on the defense too.
But you got to understand, this is football, though, man. Like these kids only last 4 years, 3 to 5 years. I mean, every team's going through this, you know.
Sure.
But I hear what you're saying. You're saying you want replenishment, right? We want to keep reloading. We don't want to rebuild.
Yeah. And
I understand your position.
It's kind of a needed year for Sharon to put more of like his stamp on this team and make it his. I'm not really expecting much out of him next year. It's okay. I mean, the year after that is when like, okay, we got to get back to playoffs every year, beat Ohio State. Like that's in year 3 for Sharon. Like year 2 next year, I'm not expecting too much. But if you guys could like see one thing outside of like good quarterback play, what will you need to feel optimistic about the rest of the season tomorrow? Or
outside of quarterback play?
Health. Stay healthy. Stay healthy.
Yeah. I'll say, all right, I got it. Offensive line dominance.
Yeah.
If we have offensive line dominance, we're going to be okay.
Yes, completely agree.
Counterpoint to that, though, like I said earlier tonight, Fresno State, I know it was last season. They did return like 80% of their defensive production, so that tells me they got a lot of returning players from last year. So this stat probably does mean a lot going into the season. They were bottom like mid 90s in terms of run defense last season. So I expect Michigan to be able to run the ball against them, whether that offensive line is honestly really that great or not, just because Fresno State hasn't been that great against Fresno State. I looked it up on their 2 deep. They're rotating a defensive tackle in who only weighs in at 260 pounds.
Yeah, he's eating alive.
So, yeah.
Crushed,
like you got to think about like when you're doing like if you're doing a study and you're measuring you're manipulating your variables to see the different outcomes. Like this would be Michigan's offensive line against the variable of a defensive front tuned all the way down. You know, like they're just not to the level of a Big Ten or SEC opponent. So.
Right.
I just want to see the team get out of the game healthy, honestly, because I think even if they bowl over Fresno State, it doesn't honestly mean all that much to me, knowing that, you know, they've got Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State on the schedule, some of the big boys in all of college football. So,
okay, can you give me one more besides health? Like, what do you need to see? Like, okay, we're going to beat Texas.
It's not good enough, Darren.
It's not good enough. That's fine. That's fine. I know sometimes
Darren.
I'm too rational and it's too vanilla for people. I want to. This is one that I think maybe you can let me know if you really appreciate this one. I want to see Donovan Edwards with his confidence and his vision back. Yeah. Most notably his vision. Even in the big game against Washington, of course, in the national championship last season. I mean, the big runs that he had against Washington, he didn't hit the hole immediately. And I think sometimes last season his confidence wasn't kind of there. He said in interviews, even himself, that it wasn't quite there for him. He's more of a guy that kind of needs a few runs early in the game to get going. And of course, he wasn't getting that last season because Blake Corum was on the roster, so that wasn't going to happen. But I want to see him. He seems to do really good in gap scheme runs, which is what Michigan likes to run. They don't run a lot of zone scheme stuff. They run a lot of gap scheme stuff. And when he hits the hole, when it's there, he recognizes it early. He can be he can be the best running back in the country if his vision is there and he gets that chin up from the point at which he gets the ball and he hits the hole hard. And that's what I really want to see. I don't know if that does it for you, but excellent. I think that is one telltale sign because I do think there will be open holes. Again, I think this offensive line, by how much does Giovanni El Hadi outweigh whoever's going to be playing the 3 technique for Fresno State? By the way, it's going to be pretty bad. I think.
Fair enough.
But we'll
I
see.
love that answer, man. I completely agree, and that's another one we got to see. Because honestly, I think I see Donovan more and more in the offseason, like taking more of a leadership role. It seems like. He's doing more interviews. When they were introducing the new locker room, he was one of the main guys they interviewed, and he was talking a lot. It seemed like he was rallying the guys too. And this is his offense, dude. We're building this whole thing around him. It's really not the quarterback; it's him. So I like that answer too. I think that would give me a lot of confidence for the Texas game as well.
Yeah, I mean, he was voted a captain. So
yeah.
And Khalil Mullings, I put it in my video I made the other day, kind of previewing this game. Khalil Mullings' breakout game, I think, could be a little bit. For people that don't already have Khalil Mullings on their radar. And if you don't have Khalil Mullings on your radar, get him on your radar because that dude, Hassan Haskins 2.0, really converted linebacker, great between the tackles, runner.
Yeah, he's gonna be good as hell. I'm a big fan of Khalil. And then also Jordan Marshall, word is he's probably RB3. So we'll see though. I think they still might give Ben Hall the first few tugs, to see what he does in game. But word is Jordan Marshall's taking that position rather quickly. So we'll see there. But I also want to give a shout out to Nick. Nick, I'm sorry I missed your super chat. I was looking at the back of the comments. He said $1.99 super chat. He's also intrigued by Marlon Klein. So as we're mentioning these names, Marlon Klein, I hope he plays. He will play. He's definitely going to be featured. And one of the things that Michigan's been doing is they've been moving Colson Loveland around in the offense. And Marlon Klein's been playing tight end. So essentially you're just moving your weapons, trying to get mismatches, and you'll see Marlon Klein on the field. He is bigger. He is faster. For those who have not seen the quote from, I think it was Kirk Campbell. John, you'll correct me if I'm wrong. He basically said he's been around a lot of great tight ends, from Colson Loveland to Pat Freiermuth to he named a couple others, Jake Butt or somebody, I don't know. But nobody has been faster or bigger than Marlon Klein, and athletic as Marlon Klein. So Marlon Klein's going to be a monster. Look out for him. He's the name to know this year. But Antoine, let me get your score prediction. Well, let me ask you this. Who's going to start Saturday? Who's going to play the most at quarterback? And what is your score prediction?
Really hoping it's Orgy, bro. Like, for the love of God, we've just set the whole thing up for him. Just please let him. And I don't like this whole one quarter for one guy, another quarter for... Pick a guy, stick with him, and then go from there. And if he sucks, bring in the next guy. But pick a guy and roll with him. And then if it's Orgy, let him go, and then roll him into the Texas game. And if he sucks at Texas game, move on to the next guy. But score prediction, I like what your other guy was saying, 27-13. Sounds about right. This offense is going to take a little time. Defense will do its thing. I think they'll give up maybe a play or two. That's how it gets to about 13. And what was your other question? I'm sorry.
I said who's going to play the most, then score prediction.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to say Orgy starts. Orgy plays pretty much the whole game. And 27-13, I'm going to steal your guys' last one. And I'll leave another super chat, guys. Really appreciate the stream.
Thank
you guys
you,
are the
man.
best in the business, man.
Appreciate that too, man. Never be a stranger. Hey, call in the postgame show. We're going to be here for you, all right?
I got you, bro. Take care, man. Go Blue.
Yeah, go Blue. Go Blue. Hey, shout out to Dependent Fanatic. I didn't know we're only at 30 likes. This is unacceptable, my friends. Please hit that like button. It means a lot to us. We appreciate it. It helps the algorithm, helps push our show. We would greatly appreciate if you guys could kindly hit the like button. And then, so, all right, we have one more caller. Let's see how this goes. Jesse, our tattooed trucker on the road. What is up, man?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, you tell me, man.
Not
How you
too
doing?
much.
Oh, just sitting over here in Cuba, Missouri.
There you
Do my
go.
10-hour break so I can get up and head home.
All right. So you're heading home. You're gonna be able to catch the game.
Yeah, should be able to. Depends on what the wife has planned, Come on.
Come on, Jesse. It's football season. What are we doing here, bro?
Yeah. I
You
know
gotta let her know.
she's got planned. Well, she usually will watch with me because in my
Okay.
house it's Michigan first, Alabama second because I love the storied programs of both. So I always root for both.
Okay.
So either usually I have a dog in the fight, but she planned being that she tore her ACL and is off work till probably after Thanksgiving. She decided she was going to have a garage sale this weekend.
Well, it's a night game, so hopefully, people. Hopefully, hopefully you make a lot of money, but hopefully, you can watch the game later at night. But here,
Should be able to.
let me give a shout out to our boy Antoine King, $1.99 super chat. Appreciate the time, guys. Go blue. We appreciate you calling in, Antoine. Call anytime, my friend. Yeah, man. Well, hey, guess what? If you can't make the game, you can definitely tune into our show. We got you covered, and you can always call in. We can talk ball. But all right. Well, so tell me, Jesse. I think. What are your thoughts on this game this Saturday? Who do you want to be quarterback? And
Well,
anything else?
I think Orgy's got it locked down for the most
Yeah.
part. I don't see a thing like we had with Cade and JJ in 2022, where you had one and the other back and forth, and before JJ finally took control of it, in the second game. Warren's got the arm. If you could put Warren and Orgy together, the accuracy of Warren, you'd have JJ McCarthy 2.0, and you'd be pretty set. I mean, because Orgy's a beast. I mean, he just plows through guys as a quarterback. I've never seen a quarterback. He's 6'3", 240, 245. That's pretty big for a quarterback. And when he gets a full set of steam, man, he's hard to bring down.
Yeah, I agree. So we're getting another report though that's outside of the On3 circle. Ralph is saying MGO blog is reporting Davis is starting from multiple sources. So, hey man, if Davis is starting, it's because he's earned it. It's not because Orgy isn't good. So if it is the case, then
I agree. I mean, both quarterbacks had the last couple of years to sit and study under JJ McCarthy. So I feel confident with either one because Warren is really accurate. I mean, I really love that pass in the spring game where he hit Ronnie Bell's younger brother for that touchdown. His touch on that pass was just perfect. You couldn't have laid it in any better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I actually thought Davis Warren played really well in spring game, like you said. This doesn't like bum me out or worry me. I actually think Davis Warren can be a good quarterback. I find it interesting that things have changed. I wonder what happened this week of practice that I don't know about, but we'll see. I mean, if it is the case, if Davis Warren is our guy, I mean, here's the thing too, though. We will see Alex Orgy play. That will happen. So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, even if Davis Warren does start, listen, this is still a tryout basis. It's Alex Orgy. Listen, whoever wants the job, they got to play on Saturday and do the most with your opportunity. It's just what it comes down to.
Well, that's it. I agree. I mean, even if Davis Warren is the starter, you could see a lot like last year where they had Orgy in there as, a run option. But maybe this year, he's more polished passer. So teams are going to key in on that run. So then fake them out, and then like you're going to run and then throw a pass over their head, especially if the DBs and the safeties are creeping up because they think you're going to run. I mean, you remember that play, it was a 2022 game when they handed it off to Khalil Mullins and all of a sudden Colson Loveland sneaks out and then they get a first down, like 20, 30 yards, if I remember right. You could do stuff like that with Orgy, especially if he's a more polished passer. You can throw wrinkles into the offense like that.
Yeah, I agree.
As far as Donovan Edwards goes, I mean, it's his team this year. I look for him to take over the Blake Corum role, and I think he's going to do really well. I know he struggled last year, and he showed up in big moments when we needed him, but I think he's going to do really well with it being his team. I think with him, I think it really messed with his head last year having Corum come back because he was thinking it was going to be his team last year, and so maybe he was a little disappointed, that, hey, I got to play behind him one more year. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Darren?
I'm sorry, I was looking at the MGO blog page to see if there was like an actual report up on their page, or if
Are you
it's just
seeing
some
it?
message
Yeah, because I
board.
haven't seen anything either.
No, I think it's on a message board on MGO blog's board. I don't have access to that, by the way. I don't pay for it, but my wife probably wouldn't like it if we paid a bunch of money out to get access to all these things. But that's just me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna really believe. Honestly, I'm more of a, I don't know. I'm kind of cynical when it comes to a lot of this stuff. I try to wait and see until we see like an official report out. I really like MGO blog. It's one of my favorite podcasts to listen to when it comes to Michigan. Those guys are really reputable. But until I see something from like actual coaches or someone like Sam Webb's never gonna like steer you really wrong, because that guy has so many inside connections and bridges. He is not going to burn there. He's not going to release anything unless he's been told it's okay to release it. I'm not going to jump to conclusions here, and I really don't want to. Either way, again, if Davis Warren has like officially won the job, I think that's great, and I've talked about it on my channel. He's kind of a JJ McCarthy light in his play style. There are a lot of things that he can do that JJ McCarthy, to a certain level, I'd say it's like a B or B plus level of everything that JJ McCarthy did. So it's a good way to transition the offense to a new quarterback, that's for sure, because it won't be necessarily doing anything new. Yeah, I'm just vibing over here, honestly. I like both Davis and Alex. I think the offense is in good hands with either one. I don't think it's any time to panic or anything like that if Alex doesn't get the job. So sorry if that's not sensational or anything, or probably won't make any clips out of this, but yeah, that's just how I feel at the moment, at least.
When it all boils down to is we need a game manager, somebody that can manage the game like Kate did in 2021. Until Davis is ready to take over the reins next year, you need that plug and play, so to speak, game manager. And whether it's Orgy or whether it's Warren, as long as they can manage the game and they can move the offense down the field, get that first down on a 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 7, they'll be all right. I mean, Kate did it for us in 2021.
So I agree that, listen, this team's better than, well, maybe we'll see. I don't know. Aiden Hutch, that team was pretty good. But, well, his defense is probably better in 2021. They're saying his defense is better in 2023. So, I mean, but here's the thing. Like, we need more than just a game manager. Like, I understand what Kate achieved, but, like, at the end of the day, we are playing in a bigger and stronger Big Ten. There's a college football playoff. This isn't the same as it was. Like, I think if we have a game manager, we're looking at a 9-3 year, in my opinion. So, and I
tend to agree with that too.
I agree with what you're saying to an extent. You need elite quarterback level play, but at the same time, we know that this is a
transition.
It's a transition year from one elite quarterback to when Jaden Davis is probably more likely going to be elite next year. So we've had transition years before. So you need that. What I mean by the game manager is you need a game manager that can, at times when needed, give you that elite level play, but they're maybe not going to give you that elite level play all the time, to make the elite plays when they're needed so that we can do as good as we can. But yeah, it's a transition year. So I'm not expecting us to go out there and ball. I mean, do I think we can win the Natty 2 years in a row? It's a possibility. I'm not saying that we're not going to, but if we had a better quarterback elite that could play elite like McCarthy, I would be a little more optimistic that, hey, we got a really good shot of, even if we have to play Georgia, beating Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we have above average quarterback play, we could probably make a run for a natty. But we'll see. I mean, it's just going to come down to like that's what's so like the season's going to probably come down to our quarterback play. You know, it just
Yeah.
it is what it is. Like our ceiling's going to be whatever our quarterback can give us. I think regardless, at worst we're 8-4. I think really at worst we're 9-3. But I mean, it just if we have poor quarterback play, we're probably an 8-4 team. If we have game manager quarterback play, we're probably a 9-3 team. We need an above average quarterback to get us to like 9-2 or 11-1. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. But all right, Jesse, let me ask you this: who do you think's going to start? I know we hear the Davis Warren. You mentioned Alex Orji, but who do you think's going to play the most? And then give me your score prediction on that game as well.
I think it's probably going to be Orji. He's going to play the most.
Okay.
And I would have to say 38-13. I think Michigan, what's the spread, like 22.5?
21, I saw.
21 and a half later. The last one I saw was 21.
Michigan will cover the spread. And
yeah,
I agree with you guys. I really like that Cole Sullivan. I like his motor.
Oh, yeah.
He reminds me a lot of Chase Winovich, who came in as a linebacker, gained weight, and transitioned to defensive end. And that kid had one of the best motors I've ever seen of any defensive lineman to play for Michigan. That Winovich was a beast.
Yeah, he was all effort for sure. I agree with that. I love Winovich, man. Big fan of him. Yeah, no, Cole Sullivan, we'll see. I'd be interested to see. I bet you we'll probably see a little Cole Sullivan in the first games. I do think you're right. I think we're going to cover the spread too. So you'll probably see the younger guys get some run, you know.
I do. You guys were talking about Jason Barham earlier. I really like his ceiling. If you remember, he was the guy that picked off McCarthy when we were in the red zone against Maryland last year.
Yep, right. That's right.
That dude had he gone to a different team, I think you're looking at an early All-American because he's a beast. Him and Hausman, I think, are going to be better than better than what we had last year. He kind of reminds me of a bigger version of I can't think of his name. What's his name? That linebacker we had that messed up Michigan State's logo. I think in
Devin Bush.
Devin Bush Jr. That kid was a beast because he played sideline to sideline. His head was on a swivel, and there wasn't much ever really getting past him. He played way bigger than what his size was because I think he was like 5'10" or 5'11". Jason Barham reminds me of a bigger Devin Bush.
Could very well be. That elite level speed, sideline to sideline, will definitely make a difference, I think.
I mean, they are saying he's the best. I mean, they're saying he's the best linebacker since Bush. We'll see. To be determined, you know. I'm excited for it, though. I mean, I'm excited to see what we do. But again, like I want to preface, like even defensively, we're not going to be very versatile. I think it's going to be very limited base package stuff. I don't imagine Michigan's going to show much. Like I think people need. This is like one thing I'm worried about, Darren and Jesse, is I'm worried that maybe the quarterback play is just okay, and you see Michigan still get the win, but you see the offense be very basic and the defense be very basic, and then people are going to really start worrying. And it's like, well, listen, Michigan's definitely not going to go deep into the playbook. Okay, regardless of as long as they're just trying to get the win. That's all they can. They want to get out of week 1 and get out of it healthy and get to week 2. That's really what matters.
Yep.
And then also identifying your QB1. That's going to matter. But at the end of the day, I just don't think we're going to see a lot in terms of play diversity. And then it just comes down to health and then quarterback play. Like, and I'm just worried that people are going to because listen, we got this Davis Warren news. And I see the chat. And first of all, if anyone can provide the link to that article from MGoBlog, that'd be
right.
Like
Let's get like an okay. Can I just take a second and get out on soapbox real quick because I'm big on this. Media literacy, people. Okay, know what the source is and then test that source for reliability. If it's just you're hearing things from posters on blogs, that doesn't do it for me. That probably won't do it for TJ here. We got to see like an actual article or something posted by a reputable site. So That's my like threshold for okay, let's go with Davis Warren as the starter. But until then, who knows?
Yeah, I mean the offense has to play. I mean, the offense has to play decent to be able to give the defense a break because you remember we had good defenses in years past, but the offense couldn't stay on the field, and so the defense, no matter how good it was, got tired out, and eventually it broke. So as long as the offense can play well enough, give the defense the rest break that it needs, and stay on the field, and extend the drives, and so on and so forth. I look for us to be a contender this year. I think we could do it, even with a game manager / above level play at quarterback.
I do think that either Davis Warren or Alex Orji will be above game manager. To me, the term game manager is somebody who is at like average base level in terms of completion percentage and can't necessarily make all the throws on the field. Davis Warren has shown in the spring game he can make all the throws on the field. And that was a big thing too last season. JJ McCarthy was such a great quarterback that defenses had to think about covering the entirety of the field on any given play. And that's why he was one of the more effective quarterbacks on 3rd and longs, because when you're a defense playing against a quarterback like JJ McCarthy, you can't think, okay, this side of the field can be left pretty much B because we know he's less accurate over there. We know from scouting him, he just can't make those throws. That wasn't the case with JJ, and I don't know if it's necessarily the case with Davis either. Davis has been a pretty good quarterback throughout his career. He's just been sitting on the bench behind a top 10 pick. So I do think that Davis could be above that kind of game manager level. And even going back to Cade, you go back to that Ohio State game in that season, he hit Cornelius Johnson on a big deep ball. He hit that flea flicker on a big deep ball. You are going to need, I think, a little bit more than just game manager level play from any of these quarterbacks to win the big games, because even back in that 2021 Ohio State game, I know that was all about Hassan Haskins going off for 5 touchdowns, but don't forget that Cade also hit some big throws in that game too. And from time to time, your quarterback is just going to need to make throws downfield. That's just modern college football. So that's just my take on it.
No, I agree with you, Darren. I've been watching Michigan football for over 40 years. I've seen teams where we've had above level game manager, whatever you want to call it, do more with less, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They made the throws that they needed to, not necessarily went out there and threw for 300-400 yards. But they made the throws that they needed to win the games. So as long as they can make the throws that they need to, they'll be all right and they'll win the games. One of the things we have going for us is, like TJ said earlier, we have an elite tight end room. How did we beat Ohio State the last couple of years? They couldn't cover, their linebackers couldn't cover our tight ends.
Right.
There's a lot of teams out there who have linebackers that can't cover our tight ends. So when you got to start bringing a safety down or put your nickel cornerback in there to help cover that tight end, that opens up certain area of the field where you can exploit it, like maybe with a running back wheel route out of the backfield, or you send the fullback on a quick slant or something. It opens up that area of the field. That's one of the great things that Michigan's done really well, even under Harbaugh, is the tight end. It's more critical than people think. The reason why Ohio State couldn't run the ball last year against us that well. I mean, they had a stretch where they were running it pretty decent, but they haven't really been able to run the ball against us, is because their tight ends don't block. They pretty much recruit tight ends that are receivers, and that's it. You got to have. Okay, so TJ, you remember NCAA football, like 2010 to 2014, the games.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yep. So you remember how when you were recruiting, you'd have like a tight end that specifically said blocking, and he would catch a few passes here or there. Or I always recruited, when I played that game, I always recruited the quarterbacks or any player that was balanced. I didn't want one that was specifically for run block or pass block or blocking. We have balanced tight ends, and Ohio State does not have balanced tight ends. So if you have a tight end that's balanced, that's really good at blocking, really good at pass catching, It makes him. It gives you that extra receiver threat, and I like that they're moving Colston Loveland around because that dude is pretty much a receiver in a tight end body.
Well, I agree with that. That's exactly what they're doing. I mean, you're right. But I will say this. We do have tight ends that are a little bit more, like, for example, Marlon Klein's a bit more of a vertical tight end. But, like, if I'm looking at Deacon Tonelli, he's more of a vertical tight end. Hogan Hansen's more of an inline tight end. So we do have guys and Max Bredesen, he's essentially a fullback, but he's also a tight end kind of. He's a tight end convert. So, I mean, we do have guys who are – specialized, but I agree with you too, though. We do have guys who are balanced. I would agree. Like Colston Loveland's balanced. And some of like, for example, Andrew Olish, we just, he's actually more vertical, but yeah, I hear what you're saying though. So, I mean, we do seem to have that balance with our tight ends, but there are dudes who are specialized within our tight end room.
Agreed.
And I think to your point too, the tight. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say this, Jesse, because I wanted to hit on this point earlier off Darren's point, because we're talking about, a game manager, but listen, Davis Warren has a better arm than Cade McNamara. Like whatever we saw Cade do, then it just comes down to decision making. Because the one thing Cade did is he limited turnovers, and he was able to at least get the team to get points, whether it's field goals or touchdowns, right? That's a true game manager. He was able to sustain drives to an extent, right? I think Davis Warren's a step above McNamara, but also let's also remember this: Davis Warren would have been a highly ranked recruit if it wasn't for his sickness he went through in high school.
You remember, Davis Warren kind of really reminds me of Chad Henne in the fact that he has a bullet for an arm, but he also can lay it out there as far as stretching the field and laying it down there, making those big plays. You remember Henne made tons of them. I think my most favorite play with him was they were playing Minnesota, and he threw it to Arrington, and Arrington caught it with his right hand behind his back and kept on going down the sideline right over the touchdown. Davis Warren, he's got that kind of arm. He has touch. They were, what was it? It heard something a while back that said that he had even better touch than McCarthy did, which that could very well possibly be. Davis Warren does have some pretty good touch on him, on his passes, and he does have that. To me, he seems like he's able to determine whether he needs to throw it hard to fit it in a tight window, or whether he needs to loft it, or whether he needs to, lay that right amount of touch like he did in the spring game. That was perfect. If he can throw it like that all the time consistently and hit, Ronnie Bell's brother.
Yeah, and
the ceiling's pretty high for him, I think.
Well, we'll see. I mean, listen, like we said, we like Davis Warren. I think I am not hearing that Davis Warren may start, if that's the true rumor. It seems to be stemming from rivals and on three. But if that is that does not scare me away. I'm okay with Davis Warren. I just want the best quarterback to win. But I want to give a shout out here to Detective Loki, gifted 1 membership to the Voice of College Football, and that membership went to Ayo. It's Jo. So what up, Jo? Welcome to Jo at the Voice of College Football. Enjoy your emojis. But yeah, no. Listen. Hearing the Davis, I just want to make this. If Davis Warren's number 1. And we're going to be wrapping up here very shortly, so I appreciate you calling, Jesse. But if Davis Warren is because we're $57 away from our third hour, so we're going to be wrapping up right here in a minute. But if Davis Warren's number 1, that does not scare me. I'm okay with that. Do I want it to be Orji because I believe in his potential? Yes. Do I think Alex Orji is very dynamic, and it would have been great to have that type of Jalen Milroe-esque caliber archetype? Of course, but Davis Warren has, again, he would have been a very highly ranked recruit if it wasn't for his illness he went through when he was younger. He has an above average arm. He has a very good arm. He very well may surprise people. I think he will. I'm not.
People. Yeah, I think people forget because he's been sitting on the bench for so long for Michigan that he was on his way to a 4 or even 5th star in recruiting, borderline elite 11 quarterback. It was just that in his like sophomore entering his junior season, he got one of the worst, into one of the worst predicaments you can get in terms of a health scare, and had to essentially take a year off of football. And even when he came back, he wasn't at full strength for his senior season. So, it's a really, really heartfelt and interesting story with Davis Warren. But I think it also gives some context for, he's not necessarily true like walk on, like a walk, like in terms of what we think of when we hear the term walk on. He does have the potential, and we're seeing it now. There's a reason why he's in this quarterback battle as much as he is. So
yeah,
I agree. That's one.
Yeah, I was gonna say
one thing I love about Michigan. Well, that's one thing I love about Michigan is since Harbaugh came there, they've been able to identify diamonds in a rough, if you will. Guys that might not be highly rated because they didn't go to all the camps. I mean, just because a kid doesn't go to all the camps doesn't mean that he might not be a 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not getting the
attention.
Exposure.
I agree with that. Yeah,
other
like
guys
Colson Loveland out in Idaho got no exposure. Kenneth Grant in Indiana didn't get much exposure. Mason Graham, even playing in one of the most competitive high school counties in the nation, for some reason, even though he had great statistics out in California, didn't get much attention. But
people forget too. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was
going to say recruiting rankings are mostly based off of measurables and things like that too. Like they're measuring for your potential to eventually play in the NFL, not necessarily whether you're going to be a good college player. So like Mason Graham has short arms like Aaron Donald, and he didn't get rated very highly. It happens.
Yeah, but Mason Graham I've never seen a 340-pound 6'3" guy move like he did in that Penn State game.
That was Kenneth Grant.
Yeah, that was Kenneth Grant, but yeah.
I hear you. Yeah, no, I mean, it's, listen, the way they evaluate, I have issues with, but we all know that. But, all right, Jesse, let everyone know, what is our final score prediction?
Hey, man, y'all have fun. And
all right.
I say 38. I say 38-17.
38-17. All right, Jesse. Well, have a good one, man. And tell the wife, TJ said, you need to watch the game on Saturday. And if she says no, have her call the show next week. We'll talk about it. All right, Jesse?
All right, fellas. Have a good one. Go Blue.
Sounds good, my friend.
Go Blue.
His wife must be tough, bro, because Jesse was not having it. He's like, bro, if my wife calls you, we're all in trouble.
I was gonna say you might have some hell coming your way for that one.
Yeah, I might have opened some hell gates, but
right.
All right, Darren, we did it, man. We made it to 2 hours.
Thank you,
everybody who participated in calling in, liking the video, subscribing to the channel. I didn't even show our Kenneth Grant tracker. We are making moves. I think we're 560 away now.
Nice.
So shout out to everybody. We started at I remember we were like 1,700 away. So we're 560 away. Shout out to everybody who subscribed. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Help us grow the channel. Like the video, share the video. We appreciate all that. And thank you, Darren, for joining me again. And for those who don't know,
thanks for having me.
If you have not caught on, Darren is going to be a monthly regular on the Voice of College Football call-in show. The goal is last Thursday of every month. So stay tuned to that. As we know, Darren knows ball. He doesn't just talk ball. He knows ball. So we appreciate that. Darren, let everyone know where they can find you.
I appreciate you guys. It's just simple. It's just at Darren Talks Ball on YouTube. That's the only place you can really find me for now. No longer on Twitter. That was a really good boost for my mental health, not going to lie. So go ahead and check out the channel. I got big previews for Oregon versus Boise State, USC versus LSU out there. We cover all things Big Ten football, by the way, not just Michigan football, though I am a Michigan fan. So feel free to go over to my channel. Check it out. I also have a Discord you can join. You can find the link in the description to my channel. Got a few people already in there. Lots of Iowa fans in there, by the way, too. So people from all around the Big Ten talking college football 24/7. It's a really great thing. And yeah.
Definitely, man. And again, dude, appreciate you coming on. And I want to give a shout out to everybody who contributed. We greatly appreciate you financially contributing to the channel. It means a lot to us. We know you work hard for your money. Hopefully we bring the value and the entertainment to make your dollar worth it. So shout out to you guys. Saturday night post-game show. Me and John have you So as soon as the game is over, give us about 10, 15 minutes or so, and we will be on live going talking about the game, and then we will be taking your calls. Looking forward to that. We can discuss the quarterback battle. And then, of course, Tuesday, 8 p.m., Wolverines Live. And then next week, I have the call-in show, and I can't remember who my guest is at the moment. But shout out to Wolverine Nation. Thank you, everybody. And as you know, it is always Go Blue.